The Donald got everything he wanted out of this Iran deal already, it seems, and now we're just adding more to the cake. Despite the lies that everyone seems to be pushing, it's kind of insane how well off we came here. The United Kingdom underwent a regime change. France has been absolutely conquered by Africa. In Montreal, there was a female cop killing a civilian by accident during a shooting, which is very interesting because guns are illegal in Canada. Elon Musk is suing Democratic members of Congress, and Europeans visited the United States of America for the first time for the World Cup, and they're like, oh my god, we were lied to our whole lives. Turns out this is actually the greatest country in the world. Lock in, boys and girls. Crazy deep dive on the agenda for you today. Don't forget to subscribe. It's Jew time. Despite being attacked from every single side, Donald Trump, in a four-pronged battle, at war with Hezbollah and Iran and the Democrats and backstabbers in the Republican Party at the same time, bro managed to handle them better than Bonnie Blue handles sexually transmitted diseases. It's pretty incredible stuff. Then Donald tweeted, everybody is fully aware that Iran will agree to have major nuclear weapons inspections in order to ensure nuclear honesty long into the future. President Donald J. Trump, for those of you unaware, this is literally the reason why we went to war. Now, we went to war for a couple of ultimate goals, which is why we sunk their entire navy and obliterated their entire air force and killed 2 entire rounds of Iranian leaders. The Donald, the Ayatollah killer, has managed to flex on those bastards. But to be honest, while those all were objectives of ours, which we accomplished in like 2 seconds, because we absolutely eviscerated them, we dominated them completely and utterly, the real reason why this all started is because we didn't want Iran to get nuclear weapons. Remember, they had enriched uranium up to 60%, even though they did a pinky promise with Obama that they wouldn't do it. Turns out you can't trust the terrorists whose entire ideology is hell-bent on destroying us. So, we did something very simple. We killed all the terrorists that were negotiating with Obama. We killed the next round of terrorists that were slightly close to the people that were negotiating with Obama. And now on our third round, we're like, can we figure this out? So, that is what's going on. Now, there's this gigantic scam about how they're going to be getting $300 billion and stuff, and they're going to be using it to build weapons and whatever. Well, it turns out the money the U.S. Treasury is releasing will be placed into escrow accounts controlled by the United States. The funds will only be able to be used to buy foods and medical supplies from the U.S., including corn, wheat, soybeans, etc. Essentially, this $300 billion fund, which, by the way, we're not giving it to them, we're just unfreezing their assets, all right? We are allowing them to use their own money, but only if they use their own money to buy our shit, all right? Again, total and utter complete domination. Like my guy, imagine being so thoroughly humiliated that they're like, please, please, could you let us use our own money? Okay, but only if you buy things from us. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's almost like we won a war or something. Now, this is a revelation from the American F-15 fighter that was taken down during the course of the conflict. An American F-15 pilot that was downed over Iran in April reported seeing Iranian drones flying in a coordinated jellyfish-like formation before he ejected. U.S. intelligence is now examining whether Iran has developed mesh-networked drone swarm technology, a capability not previously attributed to Tehran. Remember, they lied about the range of their missiles by striking Diego Garcia Island, and it turns out they actually had advanced weaponry enough to take down jets. Like, we were told forever that these guys were not a threat. They love peace. They're peace-loving ayatollahs. Let them marry children in tranquility. Let them diddle as many goats as they want. You know, stuff like that. Let them massacre 40,000 of their own people because, well, obviously we are fighting for human rights, but not for the human rights of the people actually being oppressed, only for the human rights of the Islamic terrorists. Interestingly enough, they had technology beyond what we expected and range beyond what we expected. We did the world a positive thing here by obliterating these bastards. We really did. The Donald posted another one. Despite their protestations and false statements to the contrary, coupled with a drumbeat of the fake news, which is doing everything possible to make the U.S. victory as small and insignificant as possible, Iran has fully and completely agreed to the highest level nuclear inspections long into the future, infinity. Oh my god. This will ensure nuclear honesty. If they did not agree to this, there would be no further negotiations. Based on this and other major concessions being made by Iran, I have agreed to allow the Hormuz Strait to remain open. That's us. We're allowing it to open. Yes, world, we let you use the ocean now. You do not use the ocean without command of Daddy Trump. All right, with no further naval blockade. However, all ships are remaining in place should it be necessary to reinstitute the blockade. Oh, wow. You mean to tell me that we're not pulling away because we lost a war or something? You mean to tell me that this is just a 60-day negotiation to see if we can get all the things we want? It's almost like if we don't get all the things we want, we're just going to completely economically and militarily obliterate them or something. Wow, crazy. Which seems at this point highly likely, unlikely, the money and or sanctions that the U.S. Treasury is releasing goes into escrow controlled by the USA will be used for the purchase of food and medical supplies exclusively from the United States. That's right. That's right. This is all about capitalism, baby, including corn, wheat, soybeans from our great American farmers. These are things that are desperately needed by Iran. It's true. They're starving and dead. It's a humanitarian crisis. Yeah, the actual people of Iran will not be getting any of this stuff, right? The Islamic regime that's been doing everything they can to fund terrorism, they're going to keep probably doing that, let's be honest. And I feel it necessary to help now before it's too late. Talks are going well. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, again, with Trump, you never actually knows what he's saying because he lies a lot, actually. Tactical lies, but lies nonetheless. For all you know, he's saying the talks are going quickly while he's fucking arming the nuclear warheads, right? This is Donald we're talking about. You have no idea what this goober is planning, but you know something is going on. Now, again, I mentioned it before, I'll say it again. Personally, I would obliterate them. I think they're terrorists that oppress their own people. They've killed our people, and they should die. The Donald wants to take a more diplomatic approach, and we'll see what happens, ultimately. But they have 60 days to make Donald Trump incredibly happy. If they don't, they're dead.
If Iran does not abide by the MOU, are you still willing
What I didn't say it would cause a
leverage?
depression. I said it could cause a depression, right? And I said that I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. That's a president I don't want to be because he was
gay.
in charge during the Great Depression, and certainly a lot of bad things could happen. That would be one of the things.
He
I don't
was gay.
think it would, but if it
He had a male
if-
mistress, a
if
mister,
Iran
some
doesn't,
would say.
live up to their agreement, or if they're not behaving,
Uh-oh.
I will do what I have to do.
Does
That's
that
right.
give them leverage
I will
over you,
push
Mr.
the red
President?
button.
Does that give them leverage, the Iranians leverage over you?
Oh, you're so leverage. You know, their navy is
So
gone.
exasperated.
Their air force is gone. Their leaders are all dead. Their whole country's a mess. Their economy is shot. The Times, the fake New York Times said, oh, it's about the same as it was 4 months ago. No, 4 months ago they had a navy, 159
That's true, they
ships
did.
to be exact.
They had a Navy,
It's
right?
gone. The whole
Where is
Navy's
it?
gone.
Where'd it
Their
go?
250 airplanes, all gone.
Did we do that?
Their
That was us.
anti-aircraft is gone. Their radar is gone. These guys love radar. Their radar is gone. Everything's gone. Their leaders are gone.
And
Their whole country is gone.
Mr.
And the
Ayatollah
Times said,
dies
they're
in the
about
first
same
2
as they
seconds
were
of the
4
war.
months ago. The reason the news is doing so badly, or let's put it another way, the reason that I won in a landslide, even though I got 92% negative press, all fake press, is because nobody believes the press anymore.
True.
And they have to start
Truth
believing.
nuke.
When
right.
the Times and a couple of others, they're grasping for straws. When they say that Iran is about the same as it was 4 months. 4 months ago, they had a powerful navy, they had a powerful air force. You know, most of their missiles are gone. Most of their launching pads are gone. Most of their manufacturing capacity for drones and missiles is
Damn,
gone.
bro.
About 87% gone. And then I hear, oh, they're in such great shape. No, they're gone. And their first level of leaders, gone. Their second level of leaders, gone.
Bro, just glazing
Their
himself
third
at this
level of
point.
leaders, you have to hear the
Oh
conversations.
my God.
Who wants to be president? Well, I don't want it. Nobody wants to be president.
I wonder why.
And then we have to read that
Oops.
they're doing well. They're doing so badly. In the meantime, we're setting records. We have the strongest economy we've ever had. We have 18 to 19 trillion dollars being poured into our country. We're building factories all over the place. We have more people working today than at any time in the history of our country at higher salaries. So when you ask a question like that, it's so stupid.
He's just right. And the entire media is playing this game. Oh, yes, it's true that we won militarily and economically. And it's true that all their leaders were killed and their country's in shambles and they lost thousands of soldiers. But it was a strategic victory on their part. You have to literally think they're actually inbred retards. There's no other way that you could possibly have that opinion. Literally. What strategic victory did they have? That they're not all dead, only most of them? Like I don't understand what we're doing here. Right now, the Donald said that Marco and JD are killing it.
I think that they're doing a fantastic job. Our secretary is fantastic. I think he's maybe going to go down as the best ever. And I thought JD Vance this morning was fantastic. I watched his news conference, and from Switzerland, he's a very smart guy. Did a great job. You know, when I look at the Democrats, I call them the Democrats.
That's true. They're dumb.
When I watched that, where one of them thought it was World War XI. She said World War XI. She meant World War.
Dude, we have to remind them of this forever. Ilhan Omar called World War II World War XI, bro, because it's double I. Oh my God.
You know about that, right? This is one of their potential leaders, Ilhan Omar, who married her brother to get into the country. But
he just doesn't stop. He lays it on further and further. The craziest thing is, so in my opinion, you already heard my analysis of this probably. I think Rubio is trying to convince Trump to bomb the shit out of them. I think Vance is trying to convince Trump to make a peace deal. So I think Vance, I think Trump is basically saying, okay, Vance, you have 60 days. 60 days, figure it out with the Iranians. They're gay. I don't like them, but figure it out. If you can't, we go the Rubio option. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Now, Rubio had this to say from a few months ago. I just want to play this clip because this will break you.
The world is changing very fast right in front of us. The old world is gone, frankly, the world I grew up in, and we live in a new era.
We live in a new era.
Politics, and it's going to require all of us to sort of re-examine what that looks like and what
we're going to need to re-examine the new era.
Our role is going to be. And we've had many of these conversations in private with many of our allies. We are our allies. And we need to continue to have those conversations. And I think Saturday, hopefully, in the meetings we'll have there when Lucas and them.
Yeah, and meanwhile, what happened? Maduro gone. Khomeini gone. Keir Starmer gone. The old guard is just collapsing in front of us. We are actually witnessing a new era entirely. Anyway, the Donald keeps going off on the Democrats.
Watch AOC have no idea on a simple question. What happened when she was over in Switzerland, which she probably never went there before, but she was. And then I watched somebody like JD or Marco. I said, what a difference. What a difference. What a difference a brain makes.
A brain, it just changes everything. Once you have a brain, everything's different. So JD was announcing progress on the nuclear talks.
Yesterday was a very, very good day. We made a lot of good progress. We did exactly what we wanted to do, which is accomplish 4 things for the American people. First, we wanted to build a mechanism for keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. It is open. We've seen, of course, gas prices and oil prices come down.
What? I thought this was going to be the next Great Depression. That's what Tucker Carlson told me. More on him in a few minutes.
Millions and millions of barrels of crude and natural gas flowing through the Strait of Hormuz that weren't flowing before. But we also wanted to make sure that we actually set up the coordination mechanism so that we could demine the Straits of Hormuz, so that when there are the conflicts that inevitably come up, we can make sure we work through them rather than that leading to escalation. And that is exactly what we did yesterday.
Oh, bye.
Number 2, we also wanted to build a mechanism, a similar mechanism for deconfliction for the regional ceasefire. As the President of the United States has himself said, sometimes these ceasefires just mean you're shooting a little bit less, but we wanted to make sure that we had the proper coordination set up so that if there is shooting, if Hezbollah fires at Israel or if Israel responds, if there are other conflicts that arise in the region, we're actually talking to each other and figuring out how to stop the shooting, how to make the region safe.
See, again, I don't know what the game plan is here, but it kind of seems naive. It's like, don't respond to terrorist attacks, shooting rockets at your civilians. It definitely is a weird perspective. It's like, I wonder if JD Vance properly understands the actual Islamist jihadist mindset. That's one. 2, he's trying to make a deal. If he gets them to agree to the deal, in my opinion, he's going to unshackle the hands of anyone that wants to blow up terrorists. Again, we will see what happens ultimately, but it's a very fine line that he's dancing.
For our allies and everybody else. We set that up as well. Number 3, and this is probably what we're most excited about as Americans, the Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. That is a major milestone for the American people. And the first step.
By the way, that goes to show how cooked they are. All right, they are so fundamentally mega giga-fucked to the point that they're willing to bring people in to make sure that they can never actually be a threat to anyone literally ever. It's pretty incredible if you think about it.
In permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens, but that's huge. Anyway, apparently, JD was playing hardball with them a little bit. Remember when Donald, I covered this in my previous video, the Donald dropped the nuke and basically said that we're going to kill you if you don't want to make a deal. All right, he basically said that. And then after saying that, the craziest twist of all time was essentially, no one saw this one coming. The entire Islamic regime kind of ran away in the middle of the conference. Right, they all like literally picked themselves up and ran away because they were scared of Trump because he made a tweet. Dude, that's how fucking pressed they are. I covered that yesterday. But anyway, Vance gives some first eyewitness testimony.
Tell us what happened.
No, they didn't throw a wrench in the system. The thing with the Iranians, yes, they did threaten to walk out, or at least there were social media threats that they would walk out. But we were negotiating well past 1 in the morning yesterday, so they didn't walk out. And their technical team is still here in Bergenstock working with our technical team actually as we speak, though I imagine maybe some of them are taking a break to watch this news conference. But look, what we told the Iranians yesterday is when you guys engage in what us millennials might call trash talk, you can't expect the President of the United States not to respond and not to correct the record. So when they say things that aren't true, the president is going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. Americans are going to respond to it. When they make threats that aren't rooted in reality, they have to accept that the President of the United States is actually going to set the record straight. That's all that happened. So yes, there was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
Right, so Trump made a threat, they all tried to leave, they were all terrified. Vance told them, sit your asses back down, and they did that. And then they made believe they left and stormed out, but they didn't because they desperately need a deal or they're all going to die. It's pretty incredible if you think about it. It really is. So it seems like Iran agreed to nuclear inspectors, buying U.S. farm products, 60-day roadmap for the final peace deal. We will see what happens. Now, while all this is going down, obviously, there is some updates on the actual ground war that's been going on. And by that, I mean the Iranian Revolution. For those of you that are unaware, the Iranian regime massacred 40,000 of their own people, and the people are really tired of being oppressed. They've been oppressed by Islamist fuckwads for the last 47 years, and honestly, crazy things are still happening. So while these peace talks are going on, we got the largest cyber attack ever hit Iran's banking system. All right, so that's probably the Jews. Let's be real. That's probably the Jews. You know, listen, man, I'm just being honest with you. That was almost certainly the Jews, all right? If I know cyber attacks and banking, that's Jews. That's a Jew mark right there. Anyway, JD and Jared Kushner got them to buy our farm products with the unfrozen assets. Again, just unbelievable W's in regards to the actual negotiations. But the crazy thing is, he was arguing with Iranians apparently for 9 hours straight.
Interpret what happened.
No, I mean, I trust me, I've spent a lot of time dealing with the Iranians over the last few months. Sometimes I find them extremely confusing as negotiators. But look, we had a little press conference. They obviously don't quite have the same First Amendment protections in Iran that we have in the United States of America. We talked to you guys and then had a series of really good meetings. What I did find kind of funny is that after that initial meeting, there was this, sort of social media firestorm where everybody said the Iranians are going to leave, and then we proceeded to talk to them for like the next 9 hours. So
yeah, all their threats, oh, we're going to leave, proceed to not leave because, obviously, because they need a deal desperately or they're all going to die. It's like they play a big game, right? They get all the Pakistani bot farms on their side. All the Pakistanis are like, yes, they're really showing America. But they need a deal more than anybody else does. Now, the interesting twist in all this, Tucker Carlson had like this big storm-off moment where he says he's out. He is done with the Republican Party, which, again, not a surprise. Obviously, this is going to happen. This is either because he's going to try to get some sort of Islamoid victory on the Democrat side, or because he's an operative, or he is actually going to throw a wrench in the Republican Party and try to split it. I don't know, split it on Israel, split it on Islam, whatever you want to split it on. Bro has his hands in way too many pockets. All right, he's buddies with Iranians. His entire show, he got a $15 million donation from Omid Malik, an Iranian billionaire. All right, he has a house in Qatar. He goes to Russia to sniff the bread there and talk about how good it is. Like, it was obviously an op. His father was a CIA agent. Like, it's incredibly obvious that Tucker Carlson has some nefarious shit going on. I've been calling it for months now, and everyone's catching up. Now, it is worth pointing out this old Tucker Carlson tweet because he has been a pessimistic disinformation merchant for the longest time ever. I remember when he made this tweet, and I called this out, and I got so much shit for it. This is his tweet. It's worth pointing out that a strike on Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result in thousands of American deaths at bases throughout the Middle East and cost the United States tens of billions of dollars. The cost of future acts of terrorism on American soil might be even higher. Those aren't guesses. Those are the Pentagon's own estimates. A bombing campaign against Iran will set off a war. And it won't be America's war. Don't let the propagandist lie to you. He is the propagandist. He's got 100,000 likes, 10 million views. Every Pakistani on the planet was fucking ecstatic when they saw this one. This is Pakistani paradise when Tucker Carlson comes to the aid of the terrorists. It's literally everyone's favorite day. So he was totally wrong. Let me just remind you, we did not have boots on the ground. We did not have thousands of American deaths. Thank God. All right. It did not cost, X tens of billions of dollars, at least not compared to the amount of Somali fraud. We lost more money to Somalis in America than we have to this Iran conflict, where we stopped an enemy that wants us dead from having a nuclear weapon. And then, you get, those aren't guesses. He drops in there, even though he was totally wrong about everything. But he's not the only retard that's probably a foreign asset. All right, we got this fucker too, Ian Carroll. He's been pushing the whole Israel used time travelers to kill Charlie Kirk thing. Charlie Kirk was killed by a gunman underground and also an exploding microphone and an electroshock collar and also a time-traveling bullet. All right, all that, that's actually what killed Charlie Kirk. So Ian Carroll had this to say, in case you're confused about what the next step is, after Iran has launched such an evil and violent, quote, unprovoked attack on U.S. military personnel, this didn't happen. We have no choice but to put boots on the ground. Give it a month or two, probably less. Yeah, anyway, this was, Anyway. This was a year ago. 1 year ago, Ian Carroll said, in a month, we will have boots on the ground because of a terrible Iranian attack on American soil. Anyway, so that didn't happen, obviously. Again, they're all retards. They're all retard disinformation merchants trying to divide us on purpose because they want to destroy the West. They do, in my opinion. So Tucker Carlson, this is where he states he's done with supporting the Republican Party.
I would not support the Republican Party. There's no chance I would support the Republican Party. I'm not going to support the Democratic Party. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at this point,
just understand what that means for a second. If you're not going to support the Republican Party and you're going to tell your audience of conservatives not to vote for the Republican Party, you are definitionally trying to get the race communist, gay, trans, activist, furry, open borders party to win. That's what you're trying to do here. Again, I don't like the Republican Party as it stands. So you know what I vote? You know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to get every radical, far right, they call them far right person in the country to win their local elections so that we could reshape the party from within to actually properly reflect American sentiment. That's right. I don't want to have a single one of these rhinos in the party, and we are going to reshape the party from the inside out. We have a gigantic movement of radicalized young people that are tired of the status quo, and that's how we're going to change this country. By you telling your base or your supporters just not to vote for the conservatives, you're handing the country to the race communists that want the borders open. All right? But he knows that because he wants the borders open too, because he's being paid by Islam. Understand what we're dealing with. All right? So, he's super against the Republican Party. Now, interestingly enough, right after saying he's done with the Republican Party, he has to say he likes JD Vance a lot. Interesting.
at this point,
What's your take on JD Vance? Do you think he is still America first? Because I know you were friends.
I love
with,
JD Vance.
You do.
He loves him.
Yeah, I know JD so well. And
he knows him so well. His son worked for him. He loves JD Vance. Now, there's a really interesting reason for this. It turns out JD Vance is really close with Peter Thiel, the Palantir guy. Peter Thiel is also really close with Tucker Carlson. Isn't that weird? That's weird, right?
Vice President Vance, and I've known him since long before he got into politics.
So he was a plant? Are you saying JD Vance was a plant? How would you know JD Vance from Ohio, all right, before he got into politics?
I know his family well, and my wife knows. I mean, I think of him as a friend. I will always think of him as a friend. And I was an ardent advocate for him being vice president, for him getting elected to the Senate. I've always been a big JD Vance fan because, and I am.
And now he's trying to appease the Islamists across the world, man. Listen, man, dude. Listen, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would be putting a lot of dots on the map all of a sudden. So you're telling me that Tucker Carlson, gigantic Islam apologist, is now admitting that despite leaving the Republican Party, he's still besties with JD Vance? JD Vance literally is the Republican Party. He's the vice president of the United States of America, by the way. And, for the most part, he does a really good job. Interestingly enough, he's very, very still pro JD Vance, who is currently appeasing Islamists across the world.
I remain. I think he's in an impossible situation.
Right. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. He has no power. He's just the vice president.
No, the vice president does not make the policy. The vice president works with, but really for the president.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Anyway, pretty interesting. So Nick Fuentes says, if Tucker says he's done with the Republican Party, then let's see him keep that same energy when his best friend JD Vance is running for president in 2028. Palantir Mafia will always stick together. All I'm saying is the Jews, the Iranians, and the Groypers are uniting on this one, and we are noticing that something really suspicious is going on. We are noticing something really freaking weird. The whole Peter Thiel, Tucker Carlson, JD Vance alliance, that's pretty odd. It's pretty weird. No one expected the Iranian diaspora, the Jews and the Groypers to come together on this one. But it seems like it's happening. Now, again, just to understand what the media's been doing, they've been trying their absolute best to start the war up again. Israeli soldiers shoot dead 2 Palestinian teens in the West Bank. No, by Reuters. No. Now, the actual story, obviously, is the fact that 2 Palestinian teens were killed by IDF soldiers while throwing firebombs and flaming tires at a Jewish community. Again, that changes the context a little bit. But the entire media is trying to kill Trump's peace deal right now. Right? You have to understand that the enemy is within, and it's right there. The Colombian president stated that actually Israel hacked the election. All right, so Colombian president Petro Fuckface, who we don't need to ever remember because he's gone now forever, communist retard, lost his election to the Tiger. All right, he lost his election in a landslide. I covered this yesterday. And he immediately blames Israel for hacking. I don't know why Israel cares or gives a shit at all about Colombian elections. But apparently they do, to the point that they did that or something. So he lost badly. And now he's blaming the Jews, which is a pretty good move, I would say. Owen Schroyer, who's, again, an anti-Trumper, immediately believes it. Why would Israel steal an election in Colombia, the country next to Venezuela, after we took out Venezuela's president? I'm sure it's nothing. Wait, is he saying that Israel got Trump to capture Maduro because Maduro was sending narco-terrorists across our border? W Israel, let's freaking go, Israel. Israel toppling communist dictatorships and also capturing narco-terrorists that have been on our wanted list forever? W Israel, greatest ally. They all do this, by the way. All right, this is Sulaiman Ahmed, not a Palestinian. I think he's a Pakistani guy. Israel rigged the Colombian election. It's amazing how these people believe this. It's truly incredible. I love it. I love it so much. W Jews. Now, Cenk Younger, he's been having a weird day. Are Israel supporters so detached from reality that people still think only criticizing Israel because they're anti-Semitic? I mean, I doubt it because I criticize Israel. So, and I don't consider myself an anti-Semite. But I do think if you support Hamas or Hezbollah, then you probably are. I've seen plenty of Jewish Americans criticize Israel or acknowledge the horrors in Gaza. Oh, no. You misunderstand. I don't support Israel for all the things. I don't support the government of Israel for all things. I don't even really consider myself a Zionist. But I do fully support them blowing the fuck out of terrorist retards in Gaza, actually. That is one thing I like. I am not like you. I support them blowing up Hezbollah and Hamas. All right, but if someone is in the Zionist cult, they're so brainwashed, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, really interesting old post from Cenk comes out, which kind of threw everyone for a loop.
Who wants Hezbollah to go stronger? No one. They're fundamentalist Muslims. They can't possibly help Lebanon.
W Israel killing Hezbollah. Let's go. Me and old Cenk, back when he used to, before he wanted to have sex with animals, everything was different.
And if they do harm to our interests as the state of Iran or Syria, we will crush them. And
W Cenk, what can I say? And they did. They captured our embassy workers. They killed our soldiers. And now they're dying. W Cenk.
they know it, right? It's that they keep firing the rockets into Israel. You can't keep firing rockets into Israel and go, oh, wow, look at that. They invaded. I never would have suspected that.
That's right, Cenk. Cenk was cooking. Cenk was cooking before he probably got a gigantic donation from some retard overseas.
So, and that's Iran and Syria encouraging Hezbollah and Hamas.
Oh, so you agree Hezbollah and Hamas are terrorist organizations aided by Iran. Interesting.
To do that because they want to stir up trouble.
Yeah.
Palestinians in the Gaza Strip who decided, hey, you know what? Let's launch some rockets from our side onto Israel's side.
That's right. They're retards.
That nothing happens.
Well, things happened. They found out. Old Cenk knew what he was saying.
Well, that was a pretty bad idea.
That was a pretty bad idea. Consistent with most Palestinian ideas, actually. Now, Anna Kasparian on the Young Turks, understand exactly what these people are. Their entire goal throughout everything is to be subversive foreigners that are trying to destroy America. They hate the West, they support every terrorist organization, and it becomes really obvious.
A new survey indicates that white Christians are, for the first time, a minority in the United States. Well, first time since whites came and basically did their colonial thing. But anyway, let's move on.
El Christians, we're killing Christians, Lamau. That's what they're saying. I just understand, civilizational enemies of the West.
Wiped out everyone else.
And wiped out everyone else, exactly. Now, the survey that was done by Public Religion Institute actually talked to...
I love how, according to these people, Christians that live in America, you know, a country founded by Christians, they're bad, they're not supposed to be here. But Turks are supposed to be in America. Turks are, but the Christians? No, that's unacceptable.
Over 100,000 people in the U.S., and the whole point was to find out whether or not there are differences in religious leanings and what the minorities and majorities are in regard to religious affiliation. Here's what they found. White Christians, once predominant in the country's religious life, now comprise only 43% of the population. Just to give you an example of what that population used to be like, 4 decades ago, about 8 in 10 Americans were white Christians.
Wow, that is half. It used to be 80%, now it's 43%. That is a giant difference in 4 decades. And that is, by the way, exactly why we're seeing the overreaction from the right wing that we are today. They're in a panic. Oh my God, our time is almost up. We used to rule everything, and soon everybody will be equal.
Yeah, we're gonna rule everything again very soon, and we're gonna deport your ass. I hope you understand. But yes, so civilizational enemies. Interestingly enough, these are the guys that are on like every Tucker Carlson show now. Like he had Anna Kasparian, he had Cenk Uygur. It's pretty weird if you think about it. Now, interestingly enough, speaking of terrorists, beneath Majdzadzun, a hilltop village kilometers from the Israeli border, the IDF uncovered subterranean Hezbollah drone facilities over the past decade with direct Iranian assistance, including planning and funding, protected by massive steel blast doors. Tunnel extends several hundred meters into the mountain at the depths of 29 meters, 95 feet, running beneath a mosque, of course, obviously. No one saw this coming. Terrorist HQ. All right, the passage was wide enough for a standard vehicle. Inside, Hezbollah assembled Iranian-made UAVs using parts smuggled into Lebanon, had launched them in Israel. Israeli military officials disclosed this site during an organized media tour last week. Pretty insane stuff, honestly, if you think about it. Imagine having this on your border, just lobbing fucking drones and rockets into your cities. So yes, in my opinion, part of Trump's strategy here is you're going to have a 60-day ceasefire. Israel is going to finish up their security buffer zone with Lebanon and destroy these tunnels. And then all of a sudden, Hezbollah will not be part of the Iranian negotiating argument. So they have to give up everything or die. Again, we will see how this plays out, but I think the Donald is cooking. Now, we talked about a Jew W killing terrorists. Killing terrorists is a Jew W. Massive Jew L. We got to talk about it. So the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, and in my opinion, one of the root causes for anti-Semitism of all time. Retarded, woke, leftist organization. CEO's a Jew, obviously, every fucking time, every single fucking time. All right, basically ran this entire thing talking about how goy slop is actually an anti-Semitic slang term. Now, goy is a Hebrew word that means nation. It's used by Jews to refer to non-Jews. So now they're saying anti-Semites are using goy slop to promote a conspiracy theory that Jewish people profit from intentionally distributing fast food. I mean, is that a lie? Are we lying here? I think goy slop's a hilarious term. I think it's awesome. What you're going to tell me that Hollywood isn't producing goy slop? They absolutely fucking are. All right, of course, Asmongold hits him with a bunch of other versions of the meme. Goy nip is an exciting thing to keep the attention of goys. All right, goy slop is obviously a type of food or something. The goy beam is a military action particle, usually related to Israel. Makes sense. You know, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, we're working on it. And I think that, honestly, the ADL is fucking cringe as shit. They really are. Oh, we're going to use a word that refers to everyone but non-Jews. And you're not allowed to use that word, or it's a slur against Jews. Like, come on, are we fucking retarded? Now, you have to understand the way the ADL operates. They make tweets like this because they want people in the replies to say this so that they could show these replies and be like, look at all the anti-Semitism that exists. Please donate money to us. The same way the SPLC was funding the KKK to create fake racism so that they could get donations. The ADL does the same thing, and in my opinion, stirs up fake anti-Semitism to make it seem like that they're fighting the good fight. These leftoids are a nightmare, an actual nightmare. Leftist Jews are a nightmare. Leftist Goyim are a nightmare. Leftists in general. Holy fuck, you people suck. Now, you want to see some real anti-Semitism? This is real anti-Semitism. These are two nurses in Australia.
Sure, I have a question though.
Yeah,
I have a question. Let's say an Israeli.
Muslim nurses, obviously.
I won't treat them. I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them? So if an Israeli is in Australia and God forbid something happened to him and he comes to your hospital, would you kill him?
You have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital and I sent him to Jahannam. I literally sent him to Jahannam.
Sure, I have a question.
Right, so that's anti-Semitism, I would say. You know, the guy saying we will kill Jews, and in fact we have killed Jews as nurses. Now, the judge threw out this case because the footage was recorded without consent. All right, the threats were real, but they didn't know they were being recorded, so they threw out the case. You know, see, I think that's cringe. You want to know another example of anti-Semitism? The fact that 60% of hate crimes in New York City are against Jews. 60% in all of New York cities are hate crimes are against Jews. And I mean like stabbings, chokings, beating up in public. See, this shit's something. It's important. Goy slop? Are you fucking retarded?
These are phrases that invoke old anti-Semitic tropes and conspiracy theories. What do you say to those who are concerned that the language you used is dangerous?
Now, I want to be very clear. We're talking about a status quo where children are being killed on a daily basis.
That's right. So you are allowed to incite hatred and not crack down on violence against Jews in New York because Israel is killing terrorists that attack them first. Understand what that... See, that shit's insane. Just to understand. This is fucking crazy. So yes, Zohran Mamdani, mayor of New York, is trying to create his little ethnic enclave in New York City and also block ICE from doing anything.
As their mayor, I firmly believe that ICE should be abolished.
Who the fuck are you to say that ICE should be abolished? Fucking Ugandan piece of shit. Like, are we even being serious here? So yes, when he's trying to turn New York City into Islamabad too, that shit comes with a side dish of anti-Semitism. So whenever I see the ADL not call that out, because why would the ADL call out fucking leftists? They love leftists. But they're going to call out goy slop because, oh, I saw a guy online saying goy slop. You are the fucking problem. Now, the Pope came out as a communist while Elon Musk is suing a communist. All right, the Pope says it is important to resist the commodification of basic human needs. Food, water, healthcare should not be subordinated to market considerations or geopolitical interests. Access to adequate food is a fundamental human right. There's no such thing as fundamental human rights. Grounded in the dignity of every person, meeting this need is not only alleviates suffering, but addresses underlying cause of geopolitical instability. Indeed, food security is an essential component of global and integral security. Meanwhile, you have people like the Islamic regime in Iran that literally steals the food from the people. Same with Hamas, same with Hezbollah, same with all these fucking terrorist organizations. Dude is literally pushing for globalist communism where I have to work my ass off because cannibals in Africa are not getting enough food. This is crazy, by the way. I criticize every single Jew that's pushing like the global communist agenda stuff, and I'm gonna criticize everyone that does that actually. It is actually antithetical to biblical principle. According to the Bible, you give tithes of like 10% plus an extra little bit for like priests and stuff. The idea that I need to be taxed ad nauseum to insane degrees so that I can fund barbarians that quite honestly want me dead is not a biblical principle, and it's crazy to see this everywhere. Now, the really interesting thing though is the Elon Musk story. So a New York Post says Elon Musk needs to answer for 4.5 million kids sentenced to death over Doge cuts. Ro Khanna argues. Now, Ro Khanna is a Islamist. I think he's from India. So this guy says, in a matter of weeks, USAID death toll went from 500K to 1 million and now 4.5 million. It's literally another Holocaust. Lamau. Got it? Do you get it, guys? Now, Doge cut off things that we should not be spending money on abroad, which makes sense, including USAID, which funded everything from condoms to Gaza, to lesbian opera in Sudan, and fucking LGBT activism in Afghanistan. So much USAID funding ended up falling into the hands of terrorists. Literally, Al-Qaeda was using USAID products. Now, the claim is that also in this USAID, there's also unbelievable amount of aid, and so many of these people are dying. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and this is a truth nuke. If our country has an obligation to sustain the well-being of every human being on the planet, then you have that same obligation. If you have any extra money in your bank account, you should immediately be giving it to Africa. You could save a life. There is no moral obligation that we need to be doing this because there are no limits to this. It's just nebulous, and it's a gigantic virtue signal for people that quite literally rather the Africans survive than we survive. They would prefer that, actually. Now, Ro Khanna is the one who's basically pushing this whole thing that Elon Musk needs to go to jail because of Doge cuts, because now bajillions, billions of Africans are dying. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm not going to make the joke. YouTube's already up my ass, all right? I am not going to make the joke. But holy shit, Elon. Elon gets it done. No, I'm not going to make the joke. I will not. Anyway, Elon Musk says the standard applied by Doge was very simple and easy. Provide contact information for the recipients of aid so we could confirm it's not fraudulent. Now, a lot of the aid, in quotes, that was going was all this money was getting skimmed off the top by GMOs. All right, gigantic GMOs, non-for-profit, organizations that were just skimming off the top because there were like 16 middlemen before it went to the fucking warlord in Africa. And then the warlord in Africa ended up hoarding all that shit and didn't actually end up going to the people. So Elon Musk basically said when it came to Doge, provide contact information for the recipients of aid so that we can confirm it's not fraudulent. The reality is that money was being sent to corrupt politicians under the guise of aid. Liars and stock traders inside like Ro the Robber should be in prison. Now, he's referring to Ro the Robber this way because Ro Khanna, a Indian Muslim guy, immigrant fellow, all right? Just understand what we're dealing with. This guy over here immigrates to the United States, ends up in Congress somehow. He's worth $450 million. And let me remind you, he did not donate all that to Africa, even though he is killing millions by not donating all that money to Africa. But he doesn't care that he is a mass genocider killing Africans because he's not giving all that money to Africa. See how that works? Now, Robert Khanna, people are starting to wonder, how is it possible? He was worth $30 million in 2016. Now he's worth $233 million in 2024. It just absolutely shoots upward just tremendously. Robert Khanna, Elon Musk says. Now, interestingly enough, 631 million total trade volume across 38,666 trades since entering Congress. Most prolific Democrat trader in House history. Now, the funny thing is, like most people, they go into Congress and they do some insider trading, but they don't want it to be too obvious. They'll make a couple of million, don't get me wrong. They're all probably fucking scammers and cheats. But here you got the one Indian guy, and he just fucking doesn't care at all. He just goes all in. He's just like, oh, hey, there's free ketchup packets in the McDonald's. I am going to take a gigantic garbage bag and fill it with ketchup packets. 2022 investigation found 15% overlap between his legislative work and family stock holdings. That means there was insider trading. Ro Khanna's AI-focused trades returned 112.1% excess over the S&P 500 from January 2024 to April 2026, far beating Nancy Pelosi. Wow. 143% return on NVIDIA shares bought via his wife's trust fund. That's right. It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was his wife that bought it. Yes, he totally had no idea that he was literally signing AI legislation while his wife was investing in AI. Now, Elon Musk says yes to this. Elon Musk calls for the arrest of Ro the Robber Khanna. The U.S. Department of Justice announced that a USAID official and several executives pleaded guilty from a bribery scheme involving more than $550 million in contracts. Yet Ro Khanna is claiming Elon should be investigated over Doge spending cuts. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if there's another reason why he's so mad that Elon Musk cut government funding. So Elon responds to this where it said that Elon needs to answer the 4.5 million kids sentenced to death. Again, this is a retarded framing. By this metric, anyone that has money, the more money you have in the bank account that you are not giving to Africans, the more Africans you are murdering. This is the logic he's using. According to the AI, with $450 million, you could save 150,000 lives in Africa. So in my opinion, Ro Khanna single-handedly did double the war in Gaza worth of casualties in Africa. That's right, 72,000 people in Gaza died. So over the course of this war that Hamas decided to start because they're retarded. Ro Khanna, in my opinion, killed double that many people by not donating his money to Africa. And then he goes after trillionaire Elon Musk. Oh, Elon Musk, he's a trillionaire. We need to tax him into oblivion. Oh, I'm just worth 450 million. So I'm a good guy. Now, I know Elon Musk is literally inventing fucking rocket ships and electric cars and shit, and Starlink and all this other, like, incredible humanity advancement technology. But I scam the American people in Congress, so I'm technically better. I advocate for illegal aliens to be able to come into the country and then take Elon Musk's money. Aren't I a more moral guy? Wow, the foreigners just pillaging our land. Breaking, Elon Musk indicates he's suing Rep. Ro Khanna after Khanna said Elon needs to answer for 4.5 million kids dying because of Doge cuts. Time to sue this liar. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. So again, this guy says, no, the Doge guys did not kill millions of children. If you participate in popularizing this disgusting, dehumanizing lie, you're going to hell, by the way. By the way, you're going to hell. Now, again, the left lies in order to activate people. That's how they operate. They'll say that, oh, 4.5 million children are dying in Africa because of Trump administration. And also Trump is a pedophile because there was an email where Jeffrey Epstein tried to stop Trump from becoming president. So, and Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. So obviously Trump is also probably a pedophile. They don't care about the reality at all. You know, they'll call everyone a Hitler and a Nazi and then they'll celebrate your death. They use words as weapons. It's a gigantic propaganda machine to destroy you. So Elon Musk says, absolutely, this is a total lie. All Doge did was require contact with aid recipients to confirm that funds were being used legitimately. Anything less than this is insane. Yeah, why should we just be giving infinite money to people that we don't even know who the fuck they are? Right, where everyone's skimming off the top. Multiple people from USAID have been charged by the Justice Department with stealing money. They pled guilty. Right, we have multiple cases of people in USAID pleading guilty. So he's like, okay, well, we should stop giving money to these people that are pleading guilty for fraud. And he's like, oh, you're murdering? You're holocausting the Africans. I'm not going to make I'm not going to say it. You know, Elon Musk, audit. Turn it off. You're killing the children. Yeah, all right. We got it. So Ro Khanna releases this minute-long video in response to Elon Musk threatening to sue him.
Today, Elon Musk threatened to sue me.
Based. You told him he did a Holocaust. That's what we call slander.
He called on the Justice Department to put me in prison.
Based. You're calling an American patriot a genocider of 4.5 million people.
That's right. The world's richest person has spent all day tweeting going after me. Why?
Based. Actually, it's his job. He owns Twitter. He saved free speech. He owns Twitter. So that's his job. He shits on you for a living on Twitter.
Because I cited an academic study that his Doge cuts may lead to the deaths of millions of children.
Except that's not what you said. You said Elon killed 4.5 million people. That's pretty different.
Overseas. You know, Elon, I thought you were a free speech guy.
Yeah, you're allowed to say what you want and he's allowed to sue you for slander. That's how it works.
Why not debate me on these issues instead of threatening lawfare?
You're threatening lawfare. What he's really saying is, please don't sue me, Elon, please. What if they figure out all the fraud I've been doing? No, please, Elon.
You're not going to be able to intimidate me.
Pussy.
I'm the guy.
He just did. He just intimidated you, my guy.
Who stood up to the Epstein class and...
Wow! You mean he took a position that pedophilia is bad? You might not remember this. Elon Musk also stood up to the Epstein class, as you call them. By the way, the term Epstein class is a signifier of low IQ. They marry children in the country that you came from, Ro Khanna. Children younger than Epstein's youngest victim. That's one. And two, coincidentally, Ro Khanna was completely silent for 4 years under Biden. Only when Trump takes office is the Epstein files all of a sudden the biggest issue. Wow, so brave.
And worked with Massey to get the Epstein files released. I'm the guy who stood up against AIPAC and called out a genocide.
Wow! You stood out against AIPAC, one of the most universally detested lobbying groups in the world? The bravery! You even pushed the fake genocide hoax, making believe that killing Hamas terrorists is genocide? The bravery of this man as he appeals to every single foreigner in the country.
And I'm the guy who stood up to billionaires in my district who ran someone against me and still...
You're worth $450 million. Standing up to billionaires is not a flex.
...called for a wealth tax. So I'm not going to be intimidated...
He called for a wealth tax for billionaires. You know why? Because he's not there yet.
...or silenced. I need your help. I need the help of folks to sign this petition and help me stand up to power.
sign the petition for what? Elon Musk to not sue you? That's not how America works. It's crazy how these people operate. These gigantic pussies. Now, what makes this even funnier is Elon Musk killed 4.5 million kids. Oh, that's defamatory as hell, bud. See you in court. Can we talk about this? Can we just talk about this stuff? You're the free speech guy. But you like free speech. Can we, let's not go to court. He's complete fucking pussy. It's crazy. Now, so this is Rokana, basically, as we just saw, crying. I don't want to do lawfare. I'm against lawfare. I'm a free speech guy. Let's handle this in a debate. No! Anyway, this was also Rokana.
There needs to be accountability for Elon Musk. He needs to be subpoenaed. He needs to face investigation.
I thought you were against lawfare.
He needs to answer for what he did with Doge.
It's just sad to me that Elon Musk,
He needs to answer via lawfare? Why don't you debate him?
Held himself as this champion of free speech, is
patriot.
Afraid to debate me.
Why the fuck does Elon Musk need to debate your fucking retard ass, bro? Why does he need to do that? Why does Elon Musk owe you the time of day? As you basically go on your fucking news show and you go and you be like, yes, Elon Musk killed 4.5 million children in Africa. Why won't he debate me? Yeah, holy shit.
Anything, I would have a better claim for defamation, but I don't believe in filing lawsuits and lawfare. I believe in free speech.
There needs to be.
I believe in free speech. I don't believe in lawfare. Anyway, we need to subpoena Elon Musk for his work on Doge. The problem, these people are such fucking liars. It's crazy. Of course, Elon Musk posted this, all right, about, multiple Islamist terrorist attacks and rape gangs in England. Like, it's actually an incredible video.
Army base bomb plot. The 2020 London attack. The Stockholm bomber, who was a suicide bomber who come to the UK from Sweden and went and blew himself up in Sweden. The 7/7 suicide bombers killing 52. The fertilizer bomb plot. The gas limos plot. It's the base and the home of Al Masradin, who their head office was in my town. That's one of the world's most known terrorist organizations. It was the home of 12 ISIS recruits. His entire family went to join ISIS during the time of the caliphate.
It's just literally a 4.5-minute long video listing off Islamist terrorist attacks that happened in the United Kingdom, a pretty small country, all things considered. Mehdi Hassan, of course, responds. Isn't it weird how all the foreigners that make believe they're Americans because they have paperwork, they all hate Elon Musk or something because now you're able to talk about Muslim terrorist attacks? Right? It was so weird. So Mehdi Hassan says, ask yourself why the world's richest man is amplifying an anti-Muslim thug. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like Islamic terrorism and a convicted criminal in the UK just days after an alleged anti-Muslim terror attack in the United Kingdom, which much as you mentioned. No! You're not allowed to talk about Islamic terrorism. It might cause Islamophobia, bro. It might cause Islamophobia. Now, when we're talking about rich people being absolute retards, all right, the entire cast of The View came together to support Karmelo Anthony, all right? In libtard world in America, these people are speedrunning being complete fucking retards.
Oh no, is this Whoopi Goldberg?
It is. Every time she opens her mouth, you know you're about to hear the dumbest fucking thing on the planet.
No. Is this what I think it's gonna be?
Oh yeah.
This story we've been following this, and so now there's new footage that has been released of the moments after high schooler Karmelo Anthony fatally stabbed Austin Metcalf.
Murdered.
Put his hands on me. He put his hands on me. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison, which he's appealing.
Not enough. Should have executed him.
People believe that race was a factor in the trial because
he literally murdered. So he stabbed him in the heart, man, and he admitted he did it. And there's so many witnesses. Like everyone that does this is like, okay, so Whoopi Goldberg just wants it to be legal to kill white people. You know, I'm really tired of making believe that that's not the case.
There were no black jurors.
There were no black jurors.
Yeah, because they would have lied.
Because the black jurors said that race would be a factor and they wouldn't want to put a brother in jail. I'm not even kidding. They literally said that.
One prospective juror who prosecutors identified as African American said he would have a hard time putting a brother in jail.
They were struck.
Yeah, so obviously that is not a biased guy. So they got rid of him. Based. Actually, tribalism is not acceptable in American law.
Why? And some folks think, no, he got him.
She doesn't even explain why there were no black jurors. Just like, racism,
Never explain the reason why. You're not including that information because you want to poison the well and make people think that the jury was racist.
No, it's actually because she wants it to be legal to kill white people. And I'm really tired of making believe that it's anything other than that.
But is this a jury of his peers?
I don't think so. This has been an issue for such a long time in the judicial system where generally a juror of color for a race neutral.
Generally, look at what she's saying. She's saying and implying that they struck them because they were black for a race neutral reason, which it's actually the opposite. They struck them because they were being race biased.
You're not supposed to just strike someone because they're black.
That's not what happened, and they know that.
I also think we have to look at self-defense here because there seems to be two systems of justice at play in this country.
Yeah.
And there have been for a very long time.
It's when a white person does this, everybody agrees that it was bad and the white person goes to jail. And when a black person does this, you have a bunch of black people that go out and say that the jury was racist and it was rigged and come up with infinitely many racial justifications for why stabbing somebody in the chest with a knife is okay.
I was part of the system, so I understand that, and I believe that to be true.
That's the problem.
In this case, this young man, you heard him say he put his hands on me, and I told him not to.
Well, I mean, of course he's telling the truth. You should immediately believe that the person that stabbed somebody in the chest is telling the truth. What about all the other witnesses?
More than 10 of these students and teammates testified that Austin Metcalf repeatedly asked Anthony to leave. Several recalled Anthony responding, "Touch me and find out." Metcalf tried to avoid a fight, telling Anthony, quote, "Dude, I'm not going to fight you out of track meet." Anthony pulled out a 5-inch folding knife from his backpack and stabbed Metcalf in the chest.
And the other kid was also taller than he is. He was the only black kid under the tent. The victim here had his twin brother with him, who was also a very large person.
So you're trying to imply that the brother has some sort of implicit guilt of bullying Karmelo Anthony? Is this it?
If you don't fear for your life, if you weigh 130 pounds, I weigh 130 pounds. Facing somebody that's 200 pounds, I would be terrified.
What's facing, bro? He stabbed him in the heart. Are we being serious? These people, they want it to be legal to murder white people, actually.
Of that. So I don't understand why self-defense was rejected by this jury.
Because there were 20 witnesses that all said that it wasn't, and he was the aggressor because he was in a place he shouldn't have been, and he said, "Touch me, see what happens," and then he stabbed somebody in the heart with a knife. So this is what people like her do. They just simply misrepresent the situation and lie to their viewers.
Yeah.
She's omitting massive, huge...
Again, the truth doesn't matter to these people. That's why I wanted to show this to you. The reality is irrelevant. They want you to be able to kill white people legally. So they're going to do this whole thing, this gigantic scam, where they try their absolute best. They try their absolute best to essentially make believe, oh, no, he was just a baby in front of someone so big and strong.
Facts that a jury convicted this person of.
His father went on a podcast and listened to it for yourself, but he called Karmelo Anthony a racial slur. And he also said that the reason that black people weren't on the jury is because black people...
Oh, no, a guy whose son was murdered by a barbarian is sad? Like, again, are we serious?
Unable to hold bias from the trial because...
That's true. And the person that was black admitted that themselves in jury selection. But you're omitting that information, and you're making it sound like the dad was a racist for no reason.
And also that was only after Carmelo's family went on television, implying the whole trial was a setup.
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was...
Karmelo Anthony's father. Your son stabbed somebody in the chest, but the real problem was white people.
You know, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
What?
I feel like it was just a setup.
From day one,
it was a setup. It was a setup. Stabbed him in the heart, tricking you into thinking that that's a bad thing.
It was never about race, and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both.
So that is the thing. That's the thinking of the victim's father.
That's right.
Well,
so the implication is that the victim now it's like more acceptable. What they're doing whenever they're saying this is they're literally trying to inspire racial violence. They're lying and omitting facts that would completely change people's perspective if they were shown, but they're not showing those facts. They're not telling those things. And the reason why is because they want to foment and promote more racial hatred, more racial bias, more racism, more division.
That's right. And the reality is, everyone knows this. Everyone knows that their words are just lies. Every single human being that's realistic does not fall for the slop. So Elon Musk decides to take their logic to the actual natural endpoint. U.S. taxpayer money funneling through USAID and NIH funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That research likely caused COVID, the pandemic that killed millions and cost trillions. Dr. Fauci sound off on it and lied to Congress about it. So by this logic, that means cutting off USAID stopped and saved millions, right? Because without USAID, maybe we wouldn't have had COVID, huh? Elon Musk might have stopped another COVID from happening, right? Riddle me this, Ro Kahana. If closing USAID could cause so many child deaths in Africa, why did the African Union's top diplomat in D.C. celebrate the USAID shutdowns? I guess she just loves dead babies. USAID funded Osama bin Laden's Mujahideen, which spawned Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and the Taliban. So did USAID supporters cause 4.7 million deaths in the global war on terror while murdering 35,000 people in terrorist attacks after causing 9/11? Was it USAID that did that? Elon Musk stopped another 9/11 and stopped Middle East conflicts? Question mark? This is the logic of the left at its natural endpoint. It's absolutely contorted and retarded. They don't care about logic. They don't care about reality. They care about results. They want power. So the easiest way to get power is to call Trump Hitler and say that Elon Musk killed 4.5 million children in Africa. Reality doesn't matter to these retards. They are monsters, demons that mastered human speech that they utilize only to manipulate you. Why do demons call for their mother when they don't have any? Because it's a magical phrase that gets humans to have mercy on them and stop them from killing them. So the left, the people that care about money so much, they care about the taxpayers' dollars so much. They are now vandalizing the fucking pool that was renovated by Donald Trump because they hate Trump. So they're literally vandalizing the pool, which we're going to be using tax dollars to fund. 6 people were arrested. 7 people have been cited. The damage they did to our country's now beautiful reflecting pool. 350-foot gash made by a very sharp knife or razors is numerous lashes over a very long... They're just fucking terrorists. They're a giant group of terrorists using words and revolution to destroy America so that they could seize power. They must be destroyed. Meanwhile, things are finally looking up in England, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful news, says Republican Congressman Randy Fine. The Keir Starmer is resigning as Prime Minister of the United Islamic Kingdom. It comes days after Starmer's involvement in covering up the rape of 250,000 Christian British girls at the hands of Muslim migrants was revealed. I pray that our heritage brothers and sisters across the pond can reclaim their country from the invaders. Based? Why am I supposed to hate this guy again? Now, the reason why I want to show this to you is because it's very obvious, and Rupert Lowe noticed this as well. Americans are covering
I can't
this.
believe the BBC and most of the mainstream media are not covering our rape gang report. It's gone viral in America.
That's right. You're welcome. You got patriots like Asmongold, people like me, like Tectone, Jake Monroe, all right, the goats, actually covering this. People like Randy Fine signal boosting it. Really weird that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Thomas Massey, you know, they scream about Epstein all the time, but they didn't talk about something objectively, like, way worse than Epstein. Kind of weird. It's almost like their bread gets buttered in an area where they don't want them to be talking about this. That is weird. But it did go super viral here. As an American, I know a lot of Americans are talking about this.
They seem to care more about what's happening here than we do.
True. I agree, actually. And I'll tell you why. It's not that the British don't care that this is happening. It's that the British are scared they're going to go to jail for talking about it. All right, understand the level of cucked you are in the UK, where if you talk about the fact that 250,000 white Christian girls were raped by Muslims, you might be getting punished for it. But don't worry, chaps, you have us, and we are trying our absolute best to let the world know about our shared struggle. Because if there are Pakistani and Muslim rape gangs in England, then they're everywhere. We stand with our cultural brothers and sisters, a country of shared biblical values, against the monstrous barbarian hordes that are at your gates, or in your case, literally in your gates. Now, obviously, Humza Yousaf, all right, very interesting, former First Minister of Scotland, pretty interesting. Not a lot of Scottish people have the name Humza Yousaf. All right, so anyway, hey, Rupert Lowe, you blew the dog whistle earlier this week, and people reacted exactly how you wanted them to. Over 4 million Muslims in the UK, you made every single one of us a target. You should be utterly ashamed of yourself. That's right. You should never arrest a Muslim for rape, because then people might start getting Islamophobic. You should just let them rape away. Think about it this way. If they would rape another 250,000 British girls, but no one would know about it, there would be no backlash on peaceful Muslims. And Rupert Lowe responded. For decades, that attitude, the way you deliberately phrased that post to blame me for such unacceptable violence, helped to enable the mass rape of vulnerable white girls by gangs of mainly Pakistani Muslims. It won't work anymore. Humza. Very traditional Scottish name, by the way. So yeah, they're still trying this. It's obviously not working. I mean, the literal Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, resigned in shame. Honestly, a more shameful resignation than the first episode of Black Mirror. So anyway, of course, this is a daily story, so of course I'm going to share. Brit dies! How did he die? After being violently mugged by Senegalese, my immigrant. That's right. That's right. Muslim guy. No one saw this coming. While out celebrating his birthday with his wife in Tenor Life. All right, are you going out to Tenerife with your wife? You're going out there, you're going to have a lovely time, maybe a picnic, maybe you'll even be in the beach, you'll celebrate your birthday. Oopsie, you were killed by a barbarian. That's right, there's nothing we could do. We had to import 1 million retarded cannibals into the country. No, you're just going to have to live with that forever now. This is a daily story in the UK, and I mean, you can't talk about this if you're in the UK, or you might go to jail, but I'm going to do my best. Now, there is one guy, suspiciously a Muslim. This is really weird. I'm noticing that, like, it's been a week since the rape report came out, and Cenk Younger, Hassan Piker, Mehdi Hassan, Sneko, all these fucking retards, like, based Muslim commentator guys. Every single one of them either downplayed it, denied it, or ignored it. Isn't it weird that all the Muslims seem to be like totally okay with that fact that this was going on? Isn't that weird? I think that's a little weird. Anyway, Hassan Piker has been downplaying it forever, saying Asmongold is harassing Muslims by calling out rapists. All right, this was a giant back and forth. But in my opinion, better than even showing you the clip of him crying about it, because I showed you really similar ones. Hassan, he just loves rape, in my opinion, because this is the clip of him saying that raping white women is not so bad.
Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that, like, if you have these millionaire, billionaire, WASP fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do date rape to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is, like, in some respects, from a utilitarian perspective, of course, a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, taking these guys.
Wow.
And putting them in a pen with one another is ultimately getting them away from the broader society. I'm not stating that it's a good thing that date rape is happening. I'm saying that date rape, Henry College.
Yeah, so anyway, understand what he's basically saying is, look, these are pedophiles. They're gonna rape kids. Whew, at least they're raping whites. Think about all the Pakistani children that aren't getting raped now, that white women are getting raped instead. Anyway, this is Hassan's stance. It has been forever, because he actually just hates the West and wants us to die. Now, he's been crashing out on Nick Fuentes, because there's an old Nick Fuentes clip saying that he wants to marry a 16-year-old. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the idea. But anyway, and of course, Hassan, he's absolutely disgusted by the notion that that's happening, as he literally advocates on the side of the Houthi terrorists that rape 9-year-olds daily.
Yeah, I gotta find my 16-year-old wife.
What do you say?
You're going to go out and virtue signal about how bad this is, but then also run defense for the rapist gangs that are doing it to girls that are 11.
That's right.
Or want a 9-year-old wife.
That's right.
In Iran, they have 9-year-old wives. But you're going to go out there and talk about how Nick's saying this is bad.
Yep.
This is a double standard.
No, it's not. He has no standards. It's not a double standard. He hates America and he loves Islamic terrorism. He actually doesn't care about Western girls getting raped. That doesn't matter to him at all. In fact, I would argue he probably doesn't care about girls getting raped at all. He's only saying this because he doesn't like Nick. That's very obvious. If this was a clip of Mohammed Hijab or one of these guys saying the same exact thing, he wouldn't even talk about it. The only reason why he's addressing this is because he doesn't like the guy. I don't think he gives a shit about rape. I mean, he allegedly had sex with a 15-year-old in a brothel in Germany. I mean, that is an allegation that has been made against him that he, by the way, has yet to address. Let me remind you, he never addressed that as far as I am aware, and I looked very hard. All right, so again, it's pretty insane to me that you're going to sit here and you're going to virtue signal, but
Obviously, wanting to marry underage girls is bad categorically. If you can't draw a distinction between that, then that's your problem.
Well, Asmon Dad watched me.
Yeah, I gotta find my.
Yeah. So anyway, so the virtue signal's insane. So he'll sit there, he'll virtue signal, of course, obviously. He wants to date a 16-year-old that he said probably as a joke. Oh, what a freak, what a creep. Anyway, Pakistani grooming gangs, that's actually not a problem. We actually support that. That's pretty awesome. Isn't that great? Isn't that hilarious how that keeps happening? Now, again, I wonder why we don't have Hassan reacting to this shit. That's weird, because this went very viral and Hassan didn't talk about it.
We would say that, well, if you were to be intimate with a 14-year-old or 13-year-old who's got huge hips and huge breasts and huge body, I mean, quite frankly, we would say it's not going to have the same effect medically. I mean, no one can make the argument. But in these countries where we live in now, one is legal and one is illegal. So, for in other words, you can't marry a 100-year-old woman, but you can marry that girl that's, you know, you can't be. You're a pedophile if you go for the girl that's got the hips. And once again, pedophilia is very relative.
Is it though? Is it though? This is a 13-year-old that you're talking about. Is it though? So yeah, anyway, this guy is literally an Islamic scholar. He lives in England. Wow. And you mean to tell me that there's gigantic Pakistani rape gangs in England raping children when you have fucking scholars saying this shit, like, unabashedly on camera, recorded for everyone to hear? So weird how all the Muslim commentators, they refuse. It's curious. All I'm saying is it's very curious. You see a lot of people talking about Epstein. You see a lot of Muslim commentators crashing out about Donald Trump being a rapist or something. You see complete and utter silence on this. It's so weird. It's curious, actually. I have conclusions that I've come to in my mind, but I fear to say them out loud due to being removed off the platform. But I find it weird. Anyway, Asmongold seems like he ended Keir Starmer's career.
First, Keir Starmer refused to resign.
I will never walk away from the country that I love.
It did not age well. That did not age well.
Reports of everything Keir was ignoring. Then they tried to ban it on social media sites. Search engines essentially refused to link you, and even ChatGPT can't even talk about it. But then the Roach King, Asmongold, read all 218 pages to his 4 million subscribers for nearly 7 hours live on stream.
You guys ready? You think you are, but you're not.
And 3 days later, Keir Starmer has resigned as Prime Minister.
Listen, I'm just saying,
in his position.
I don't know if one has to do with the other, but it's pretty weird.
Restoring trust on the economy, defence and national security. And becoming a party that once again stood proudly with, not against, our national flag.
Then crying like a bitch.
Being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and bad. And being the best dad I can to my beautiful children.
Oh, you care about children now?
If only he cared about protecting any of those other innocent 250,000 British girls, but no. He only seemed to care when it finally impacted him, making his own party turn on him, demanding his resignation. As Lowe directly acknowledged, Asmongold was sharing the reports with the masses, doing more for those British girls than the entire British media establishment. And correlation doesn't equal causation, and it normally would be a stretch to say an American Twitch streamer can end the career of UK's Prime Minister, but in the world of TikTok attention spans, mass media censorship, and reality television,
it turns out you actually make a difference. It's the civilians, it's patriots that are saving our nation. Like, our civilization is quite literally being saved by patriots on an individual level. All right, every single person that contributes is making a difference. It's insane to see. It really is.
Sometimes it takes pop culture to finally find justice. R&B singer R. Kelly's criminal behavior was an open secret that took a Lifetime documentary to reinvigorate public outrage for him to finally see justice.
This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
With countless other instances similar to this. So it almost seems like Starmer's Labour Party was completely fine with the R report and the 250,000 essentially sacrificial lambs on an effort to control the narrative about immigration. But once a guy called the Roach King got all the normies...
Oh, but if you ever call them out, that would be bad, because think of all the Islamophobia against simple, peaceful Muslims. Again, I'm still waiting for the simple, peaceful Muslims to call out the rape gang. I have yet to notice one. Weird.
Noticing the heinous things they've not only been allowing, but assisting in and actually paying for. Only then is it time for Starmer to step aside. But sadly, the escalation in the UK is already spiraling, as another mass slashing occurred in Edinburgh, Scotland. And even though this time, Starmer immediately stated it was absolutely appalling and he will face the full force of the law, it's interesting how this has dominated the media, completely erasing the other recent mass slashing also in Edinburgh, Scotland, that somehow wasn't considered terror related like the more recent attack. And I've been hearing rumors that the first guy was deemed unfit for trial and was immediately released from medical care. But I can't even find the first attacker's name, let alone concrete confirmation of what consequences, if any, he's faced. As Asmongold reacted to this attack being painted as the OR report's fault.
That his bullshit gang report.
That's right. I don't know if you're aware, but if you arrest Muslim pedophiles, it's your fault if people get upset at Muslims. That's right. Most people would blame the pedophiles, but Muslims don't see it that way. They are actually always the victims. You know, they'll declare war on Israel. They'll lose. They're the victims. They'll massacre Christians in Nigeria. Trump will blow them up. They're the victims. All right, they'll rape 250,000 British girls. They'll go to jail. They're the victims. All right, I hope you understand how this works. It's interesting. It's almost like it's a theme that I'm trying to notice. Hassan Piker calls everyone, slanders everyone on the planet, from me to Asmongold to Tectone to everybody. He slanders everyone he could possibly find. You call him out, he's the victim of a mass harassment campaign. They hate him, they're harassing him. Oh no, poor guy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy if you think about it.
Falsely claiming Muslims 250,000 white girls. Same week, Elon Musk, is anyone surprised? They're inciting violence against Muslims and emboldening extremists. If you think this is bad,
oh, it's gonna get worse.
This is nothing.
Oh,
You've
it's gonna
created
get
an
worse.
Entire narrative, and you've done all of this in the span of 3 hours since
the freaking Muslim Brotherhood thinks they're so cool. I hate to be that guy, but the Muslims are leaving the UK by the ballot or by the bullet. It's happening. And look, I don't want to be rude here or anything, but lock in.
This event happened.
Civil War 2029. Hope you're ready.
And now everybody else has to listen to this narrative. Who gives a who cares? I don't want to hear about this. This person defends every terrorist in the world, and now he wants us to be worried.
That's right.
About something bad happening to people like him.
Yeah.
And I never want to go down the path of our defenseless innocents get hurt, so your defenseless innocents get hurt, as what should happen is a second insane stabber.
I mean, I don't think that's what Asmongold was saying. I think what Asmongold was saying was more along the lines of, like, I don't need to hear about this. Lots of crazy shit happens all the time, but the absolute scale of the Islamic rape of England, for example, is something that needs to be discussed. Yeah, there's psychos in every party, on every side, in every group. You'll get your occasional unhinged psycho attacking Muslims or whatever, but you have an industrialized system of Islamic rape gangs raping children, and the government covering it up. That is obviously a travesty, not even remotely on the same wavelength. That's what he's trying to say. So he's saying, get out of here. I don't want to hear about this. It's twofold. One, I don't want you to be blaming people for arresting pedophiles for inciting violence against Muslims. And two, you are trying to craft some sort of broad narrative out of an outlier case when Asmongold is pointing to the actual system of the country that is industrializing the rape of 250,000 children. But that you will downplay and say that that is obviously not some sort of pattern or anything.
Gets the same lifelong sentence as the first and any other insane stabber receives. But the UK is essentially setting up a third world, tribal-led, lawless society where the controlling party is given special privileges to commit crimes, as society is scared of what happens when you ask them to stop. And when neither side expects justice or consequences, you already live in a lawless third world nightmare.
That's right.
As less than 2 weeks ago, the riots over Henry Novak wrecked Northern Ireland, with unconfirmed reports that the newcomers the rioters were angry over were immediately
Sure those were the riots over the Senegalese guy that beheaded a guy in public. I think that was the riots he's referring to.
To England, which means
like you lose track. You lose track of the foreigner terrorist attacks in the UK because there are just so many of them. So like you don't even remember which riot was in response to which terror attack. Like, doesn't that imply there's an issue?
The only thing their political leadership is acknowledging is the rioting and the Roach King, as this is no way to run a first world Western society. But after the R report, there's apparently masked gangs carrying sticks out hunting British citizens.
Come on guys, what's up? Nara Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Nara Takbir! Takbir!
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal.
Together. The post. Let him.
as the UK police treat their group much different than the British girls.
Bro, it's insanity. It's complete insanity over there. It's insane to see what had happened.
Yo, he's got the baton! Yo!
Which is on track for the same police force that took victims back to their R gangs, saying, "Have fun with her." Just imagine if Care was still in power, shoveling down the whole social media ban for kids to protect them, when all it would really do is prevent anybody from sharing the R report or noticing any of the many crimes they're also desperate to suppress. Like the other girl that was murdered by a newcomer with a screwdriver.
This
that
is
the police
daily.
toned
I
down her
told you
mother's
it's a daily
statement
thing.
to avoid racial
Oh
tension.
my
And
God,
that
you
happened
just need
back
to
in
get used to it, I
2024.
guess.
So after the mass slashing of kids at a Taylor Swift dance party, Henry Novak being falsely framed as a racist so they can get away with murder, and now the 250,000 or more girls that were awed and then ignored, the only thing we're seeing after noticing is one scumbag politician stepping down, while his alleged
And then
replacement
they replace him with an even bigger douchebag.
is equally as awful.
Obviously. Now, I'm going to hit you with the truth nuke. Everyone's going to be upset at me. Every once in a while, I say something that pisses people off, and I feel like this is going to be one of them. I think it's kind of good that the next guy is a complete douche nozzle. I think it's actually kind of a good thing. But you want this guy to, like, half fix the situation? I don't think you do. I think you want him to be fucking retarded, so you get a actual, quote-unquote, far-right politician to win in 2029. If he, like, semi-fixes issues and life gets, like, slightly moderately better, people are going to be like, oh, it's okay. At least it's better than queer Stalin. We'll just kind of keep this shit happening. So I think it's actually kind of good that this guy's a fucking nightmare. I know it's a bit of a pragmatic perspective, but it's not like we're even changing parties here. This is still a left-wing party. They are still going to be importing infinite retards from the third world and still going to be taking your tax dollars to pay for them. You don't want this guy to be viewed as like an actual success, comparatively speaking, to Keir Starmer. You want him to kind of be retarded.
Madam, is this a coup? Are you mounting a coup, sir?
Prime Minister?
Are you ready to be Prime Minister, sir?
He not only allowed the police to ignore the grooming, but even arrested the
Isn't it incredible? They call Trump a fascist and whatever. He won a democratic election, literally. He won the popular vote, all 7 swing states, popular vote. And here they are just like picking leaders. No elections. They just, oh yeah, you're next. You're next. We'll put in fucking Baltimore in charge. That's right. That's how it's going to work.
fathers for noticing.
And I'm answering that directly because I want that to be known from my point of view. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question, Andy.
You have not answered the question!
And being detached from English politics, I never noticed that for the last decade, no prime minister has ever lasted longer than 3 years.
Yeah, there were 8 prime ministers in the last decade. I'm pretty sure that's the number. It's insane.
And they'll continue to have a revolving door of failures until an outgoing
The actual failed state, and then they'll criticize us. They'll have the balls to criticize us. And, oh, no, we cannot let the United States from utilizing our military bases. They destroyed their economy. They don't dig for oil because of woke. Woke! You can't dig for oil because of woke. Obviously, that would be terrible. Import infinite retards because of woke. Infinite socialism for the retards that we import because of woke. All right, it's insane. It's crazy.
Politician is finally punished for these failures, as it looks like Stormer will receive a golden parachute of a 6-figure pension and a taxpayer-funded security detail.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that great? So not only do you have to pay for this guy to cover up the rape of 250,000 British girls, but you also have to fund the rest of his life after he retired from covering up the rape of 250,000 British girls. Totally not a broken system.
Essentially getting rewarded for 2 years of destroying the country, as this system is completely broken. But not much can be expected from a country that sacrifices little girls to protect grooming gangs from mean social media messaging.
And then it's like, the Bible says, do not sacrifice children to the Moloch. And everyone's like, please, who would do that? This camera zooms into freaking England. France is having a bit of a nightmare situation too, by the way. Clavicular, popular streamer, went to France and is like, I don't understand. Why is everyone an African? Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, but first, this story is insane. For some reason, no one knows about this. Brits were caught up, right? This is the Daily Mail, it's a British publication, caught up in a terrifying night of violence as French music festival descends into stabbings and rapes, with multiple women stabbed with syringes. Well, that's pretty bad. Multiple stabbings and rapes found. There were 243 arrests for this, over 10 syringe attacks that took place, unbelievable amounts of mugging and sexual assaults, and this was all at the Fête de la Musique, a nice annual music festival. Muslims like doing shit at music festivals, I've noticed. And you will never believe it, but after they investigated, they looked at the footage, it turns out that the people that were doing the stabbing and the syringe jabbing and the sexual assaulting and the mugging were almost exclusively Africans. Isn't it that's so weird? That's so odd. Because I was distinctly told by liberals that all cultures are equal. What are the chances that they're all Africans doing this shit? Nice French music festival you got there. Where are the French? Where are the French in this French music? I am not noticing any French at this French music festival. France decided to go from regional superpower to zoo over the course of one generation. And I want you to comment below right now if this is a story you heard from anywhere else or if you're just getting it from here. I do so much painstaking research putting all this shit together. And no one actually wants you to know any of the things that happens in the world because obviously that might cause Islamophobia or something. So understand, after France gives billions of dollars to Africa and import Africans, and they just, I don't know, stab them at music festivals or something. Now, Clavicular over here, as you could tell, he went to France and he was like, Nani? Why are they all African? It's just so sad. He's not even like a political guy. He was just shocked. He was shocked. It's like he walked into the wrong section of the zoo. He meant to go to the cafeteria, but he ended up going into the exhibit by accident. This is not a racial slur. I'm just saying that's how some people act in certain areas. I would never obviously say anything like this about any races. God forbid. Not on YouTube, you think I would do that?
Live streamer Clavicular took a walk around Paris and immediately began noticing.
Where are the French? Where are the French? Ah, Napoleon died for this, baby. That's right.
Turned out to be quite a shock.
Bro, be safe.
It's like you look at France and it's like, you know, everyone's like, if we wouldn't have stopped Hitler, you'd be speaking German. I don't know. They're speaking freaking chimpanzee right now. Oh my, I have to stop. But like, what are we doing?
Bob, be safe. Yeah, this is
He's just terrified because he has common sense. Yeah, the spider sense of not wanting to be in a crowd of people that don't speak your language.
Interesting demographics, I'll say that. Yeah, this is not safe.
Did he just do a racism by mentioning the fact that the demographics are making him afraid? Are you not willing to sit down in a bus in front of a weird, fidgeting man of a specific ethnic background?
For reasons known only to him, and despite being protected by bodyguards, Clav's situational awareness maxing suddenly kicked into high gear.
This is like Giga risk maxing.
This used to be the cradle of Western civilization, by the way. It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
Bro, why is it so fucking ghetto here? Like, what is this? What's the most ghetto shit ever?
Yeah, welcome to Europe, mate.
That's just what it's like.
Not quite what you...
The globalists decided, actually, we have to have empathy, so we have to turn our entire continent into retard carnival. That's right. That's how it works.
Expected.
Brother! Europe! The cradle of Western civilization.
Wow, it looks so... French.
What are they even gonna do? Like, are they just cooked, actually? And that's like when I say that I want to decouple from Europe. Like, I want Europe to get better. I obviously appreciate Europe. I love that our heritage comes from Europe. My heritage comes from Europe a couple generations back, obviously. The truth is, I want them to do better. I want them to kick all these fuckers out of their country. I want them to reclaim what was theirs. I want some base Templars to come out and call for another crusade or something. I mean, I would love it if it actually returned to its Christian roots, because that is what Western civilization is. It's based on biblical values. It's not supposed to be a fucking jungle. But it's heartbreaking, because are we ever going to get there? Is that ever going to happen? It's so sad. So on the one hand, yeah, I obviously want you guys to succeed. On the other hand, I don't think we share values with you anymore. Like, just on like a broad scale, I love the people, the natives at least, and I guess I love the other people that are there too. I would love them more if they were in their homeland. But you know, I don't think actually having some sort of gigantic alliance where we're giving NATO $100 billion a year, for example, is actually beneficial to us. Like, I don't know why we do this. I don't know why we're part of the UN, why we have to listen to the squabbling and the gawking of all these absolute dipshits that sold out their people and nation. I'm America first. I always have been. I always will be, probably. I don't want to be giving foreign funds to anyone. That includes Israel. It includes Ukraine. It includes Europe, NATO, the UN. I don't want to be hosting this. I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to be any part of this. In fact, I offer you a trade. I will trade you all of our minorities. Oh, shit. I will trade you all of our foreigners and liberals for your based white people, please. For all your far-right nationalists, we'll make a trade. I'll trade. You can also have California in the deal. It comes with them. Like, think about it. They'll be able to live in their diverse communist utopia, and the based patriots in Europe that actually want to live in a country that is founded on biblical values that's more conservative could come here. Just a colossal dump. Can we do this? I feel like someone should be looking into this.
Clav then made a prescient prediction.
It's gonna get bad later when people start drinking too. Once people start drinking too, it's gonna get bad.
They didn't even need to start drinking. Alcohol was banned. But it only took a matter of hours for that prediction to come to fruition.
Paris. I love how these people are like, we're so uncivilized. In Rome, they had a Colosseum. Meanwhile, you have these fucking retards fucking raping each other on the street. Oh, that's much better, right? That's so much better. Brother. You know, it's crazy. I watch this and I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. I would never be caught dead in a place like this. It's insane. I'm just too civilized, I guess. What did they do? What did they do?
Yeah, it makes Notting Hill look like Woodstock in comparison. Yeah, I'm starting to think this whole thing might not be about the music. Imagine being some boomer liberal American tourist couple, thinking you're going for a peaceful summer.
By the way, watching a movie with the wifey, and it was taking place in Paris or something. I don't even remember what it was. And my wife was like, "Oh, I would always love to visit Paris." I've been to Paris before, probably like a decade ago. And my wife was like, "Oh my God, I've never been to Paris. I would love to go to Paris." And I was like, "There is no Paris anymore. What you are watching on the screen is a testament of the past. It no longer exists." My wife was like, "What? No. I'm gonna make her watch this video after."
A vacation in the city of love, thinking you're going to encounter authentic Parisian culture. And this is what you encounter.
When I went, everyone was gay. Now everyone's African. So when I went, it was bad. Now it's worse, is what I'm trying to... I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Honey, we'll rent a car and get a real feel for the place. This isn't what the travel agent promised us when we booked.
Brother, stop, please. It's so bad.
When French authorities banned alcohol during the Fête de la Musique, leftist media...
I love when they do this. Oh, they banned guns, so therefore the shootings stopped. No, it didn't. The shootings didn't stop. Oh, they banned knives. Unless you're Indian, in which case you could still carry a knife. But other than that, they banned knives, guys.
Let's framed it as a public health measure due to the heat wave. Yet the minister...
Yeah, of course.
Minister of the Interior warned the police days in advance that the music festival brought with it the risk of urban violence. Yeah, I don't think the booze ban made much difference. I know this thanks to Ground News, a long-time partner of the channel. I used their app and website in my daily research.
Let's go. I also use it sometimes. It's insane because everyone just lies about things now.
Off unlimited access or scan the QR code right there. There's nothing more radicalizing than watching old footage of the same festival. Fête de la musique, then.
La fête de la musique est lancée partout en France.
Oh my god!
La soirée commence mollement.
Fête de la musique now. Then.
Reste une mélodie ballade pleine de charme et aussi d'espoir.
This is so sad! Stop. I'm suffering.
L'ambiance gagne les rues dans la soirée. À Paris, Nantes, Perpignan, partout, la musique est fêtée.
Now.
Bonsoir. L'heure. S'il vous plaît, il est quelle heure?
Then.
Quelques croquis enregistrés hier soir à Paris.
Now.
I'm just sad.
The world you grow up in,
I'm just sad.
Longer exists.
And then they import 1 million people who don't care about you and don't care about your civilization. They will destroy your world. They will use your oak door as firewood. All right? And they will worship the god of Nurgle as they slowly but surely corrode your society. Your values will become diluted by heathens. And then a very crinkly, hooked-nosed Jewish libtard is going to say, there is no great replacement going on. Come on, dude. We're not doing this anymore.
You've got to ask some serious questions about liberal white women who saw what happened at the same event last year.
Crowds of people, mostly young women.
Bro, that's not a French!
Were suddenly pricked with syringes in cities like Paris, Metz, Tours, Évreux, and Rouen.
Woman, you should check your thyroid. You look like you have an issue over there.
In total, about 145 people reported being stabbed with syringes.
Then decided to show up again, presumably thinking the bountiful...
These people are actually retarded. Like, their culture teaches them. You live in a high-trust society. No one would do this thing. And then they import fucking barbarians that would totally do this thing. They don't tell you because all cultures are the same. And then, what? They did the thing!
Cultural enrichment on offer was worth the risk.
I can't believe it! Disgusting!
Multiple syringe attacks happened again, with one man roaming around with needles on his bell. Women were again targeted, one being awed after a needle attack and another losing consciousness. France has reached such a critical mass in terms of the number of people it's imported. Macron's justice minister recently called for a 3-year total halt to legal migration. As Ground News' biased comparison coverage shows, leftist media outlets framed the policy itself as a dangerous escalation. Ground News helps you instantly compare how the same story is being...
It's dangerous to discuss things that everyone wants because people might realize that getting raped might not be necessary for society.
Worldwide and across the political spectrum, identifying media bias and how they spin certain narratives. It's been an invaluable tool for me. So please subscribe using my link down below to get 40% off their unlimited access plan. The streets of Paris were left looking like a landfill site.
Je suis au cœur de Châtelet-Léal, hein. Il est 6h40 du matin et regardez ce qu'on retrouve, voilà, des bonbonnes de protoxyde d'azote dans un Paris, voilà, ici c'est l'apocalypse, hein. Là, on s'est baladé avec le caméraman dans Paris-Centre et tout
Look how culturally enriched it is, guys. Look how culturally enriched it got.
Détruit. Franchement, j'ai jamais vu Paris dans un tel état. Regardez, regardez.
And the participants of the festival were not too keen on people seeing the detritus-strewn aftermath.
Interpelle évidemment, et les agents vont devoir tout nettoyer. Les agents de la ville de Paris. Voilà. Le monsieur va devoir tout nettoyer.
Wow.
C'est moi?
This gentleman has to clean everything up and then pay taxes to fund the people who made the mess. What a great society. It's so good. It's so good. It worked so well, guys.
Where were the police in all this, you might ask?
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure like 3,000 police were deployed and they ended up arresting like 250 people.
Busy arresting Mario and Luigi.
No, wait, what? Are you serious? No shot, dude.
In fact, they made
No
248 arrests. And now they've been told no more arrests for weeks because
This is not a serious culture. This is not a serious culture anymore. Oh, you arrested too many people too quick. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do the French. You arrested too many people too quickly. Unfortunately, we do not have space in our gay prisons for the people. No more arrests for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, no arrests. We don't have space. You'll just have to let them do their thing, whatever they do. 3 weeks, grace period. It will be simply put, 3 weeks. We will have the purge in France. The France purge 3 weeks every year. We let them kill each other. No consequences. Yeah, this is going to be great.
prosecutors are so
That makes
overwhelmed. Despite all the bedlam, the fighting, the S attacks, the wanton property damage, hundreds of arrests, the police and the media came out afterwards and said that the event took place with no major incidents.
No major incidents. 250 people arrested, multiple people stabbed with syringes. No major incidents reported. That's right.
This is how low we've sunk, to the point where this level of chaos is considered normal and acceptable, when the French Ministry of Culture proudly proclaimed the Fête de la Musique would honour music in all its diversity. Diversity definitely became a talking point, but not quite in the way they envisaged. I don't think Clavicula's personal experience of Paris quite matched the message on his t-shirt.
Damn, bro. Look how uncomfortable he is. Oh my god. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, let's get out of here indeed. But if you think that there's a problem, then you're a racist. So there was a huge shooting that went on in Montreal yesterday. It was big. Everyone was talking about it. And that's crazy because Canada banned guns. So I was told that they wouldn't have shootings because guns were banned. Now, when I say this hit close to home, I mean it literally. I lived in Montreal for a bunch of years. My mom was, in fact, on the street. Côte de Neige is the name of the street. On that street as the shooting happened. And I was a little terrified. Not gonna lie. You know, this happens. I immediately call my mom. I check on her, and she's like, but guns are illegal in Canada. I'm like, God damn it, no! Don't fall for the propaganda! Anyway, so lots of woke situations have been taking place all over, but I wanted to focus a lot on the Montreal one, because it's an insane story on every level. So anyway, a Dutch 15-year-old girl who identified as a trans boy, and later as a dog, this isn't a red flag for a mental illness, by the way, stabbed her parents to death. That's right. That's right. So this 15-year-old girl who thinks she's a boy and then a dog murdered her parents. Many such cases. She took pictures of bodies and blood and sent it to the WhatsApp group. Classmates said the troubled teen had been wrestling with her identity for years. No. One classmate revealed she wore a tail, dog ears, and gloves. She'd crawl around on all fours and bark while running through the school corridors. And no one thought that, hey, maybe we should be looking into this. Maybe she should be going to a freaking ward. Maybe this should have been investigated. Nope. Not a single person felt like this was worth looking into. Do you know why? It's because that would not be woke of you. It would not be woke of you. Neighbors said they saw strange behavior for years, that it was getting worse. They spotted the girl sprinting through streets at night, perching silently on garden fences and shed roofs and hiding in bushes. One local told reporters she was always strange, kept to herself, but seeing her running like that in the dark, it was creepy. And that she murdered her parents. Many such cases, actually. More trans violence. Wow, I'm so surprised. It's almost like mentally ill people are violent or something. That's crazy. That is insane. No one saw this coming. Turns out, says Elon Musk, giving rage-inducing hormones to mentally ill people obviously greatly increases risk of murder and suicide. No one saw this coming at all, actually. Wow. Took a mentally ill people, they put them on fucking hormone drugs, and then they go ballistic. That's insane. Fucking leftist bioweapons walking around, ready to detonate at any time. Anyway, this is everywhere, though. All right, leftist policy loves when this happens, I think. Holy crap, ICE just arrested an Illinois teacher in a Trendiaragua triple murder case mass shooting. Guess what? The Democrats released her from jail. You can't make this up.
The 2 alleged gunmen have since been deported, but critics say Chicago's sanctuary policies allowed this suspect to slip through the cracks after local authorities released her from jail without notifying ICE.
Understand, more people died in Chicago, okay, over the last 2 weeks than have died over the course of the entire Iran war. Do you understand how fucked up that is? And that's just because they're like, no, we can't arrest the violent criminals. No, of course not. Policing is bad.
Border czar Tom Homan joins us in moments on this.
But first, senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the exclusive for us. Mike. And Sandra, Immigration and Customs Enforcement now has in custody this former Illinois high school teacher who they say assisted a Tren de Aragua mass shooting, and it gets more complicated from there. Giovanna Mercedes Moreno Ochapinte, 32 years old, first entered the U.S. in October of 2021 with the visa waiver program, but she was supposed to leave January 2nd, 2022, and she overstayed her visa. Skip forward to December 2nd, 2024, when the Department of Homeland Security says she drove two gunmen affiliated with a Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, to a house party in the Gage Park area of Chicago, where they allegedly opened fire. 3 people were killed, several others injured. Federal authorities say Moreno Ochapinto...
Leftist policies, by the way. And then you have liberal white women, ladies and gentlemen. Liberal white women going out and dying. Literally dying, all right? You got these retarded lesbian Karens dying to protect these people.
Help the gunman flee the scene. Ochapinte, I should say. The 2 men she allegedly drove to the scene also helped the gunman flee the scene. Ochapinte, I should say.
Crazy.
The 2 men she allegedly drove to the scene and helped escape, Ricardo Grandillo Padilla and Edward Martinez Sermeno, have both been arrested and deported. Chicago police arrested this former teacher December 5th, 2025. Federal authorities say she had weapons in her car at the time of the arrest.
Turns out leftist policy just kills, actually. It's deadly, inherently. All right, this is what the Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago had to say after 40 people were shot in one weekend.
So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been unfortunately accepted in this country for a very long time.
Who's killing them? Who's killing them, Mayor? Who's killing? It's black people. Spoilers. It's black people killing black people. And you refuse to allow police to arrest the criminals. So black death is happening way too often as they release the black murderers from jail. Like, are you serious?
We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes. And people mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon.
Oh, it's Nixon's fault. It's Nixon's fault that black people are killing black people and not getting arrested for their crimes and then getting released early. It's totally President Nixon's fault.
I'm going to work hard every day to transform this city. That's what
Except he's not going to be arresting criminals. That is one thing that he refuses to do. Even the Donald had something to say. Lots of killing going on in Chicago. 22 people shot, at least 4 dead. Now it's 40 people shot, 8 dead, by the way. Why isn't Governor Pritzker calling me for help? I can make Chicago a safe city in 1 month or 1 year. It would be the safest. DC went from one of the worst to one of the safest. Turns out arresting criminals actually works, but it's almost like leftist policy just loves death. Remember, more people killed in Chicago over the last 2 weeks than the total amount of U.S. soldiers that we lost over the course of the Iran war. People don't want to put these numbers next to each other, but it is we lost more people in this country to trans killers this year than to literal Iranian weaponry. All right, you have to understand how fucking awesome our military is, but also how fucking retarded we are to let this shit happen. Now, of course, the left, they love death. I hope you're understanding the theme here. Right? They love death. All right, so Dean Withers did a little debate on if abortion should be legal, and he makes a pretty incredible acknowledgement.
Because I think it's a permissible action, I therefore don't see any good reason to infringe on a woman's bodily autonomy in the legal prevention of her access to abortion. Therefore, it's a human rights violation.
So you don't understand it? It's like killing. You don't think it's killing a human being?
No, I do.
And you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So he's just okay with killing humans. Most people are like, abortion should be illegal because it's murder. And then the response is, well, it's technically not murder. It's just an embryo. It's a fetus. It doesn't, they try to come up with some sort of mental loophole as to why murdering humans is bad. And he's like, no, yeah, it's murdering humans. And that's totally fine, actually. I actually support murdering humans. Again, this is the left. It's a death cult. I'm starting to notice. Anyway, so developing story. Police are investigating a shooting in Montreal's Côte des Neiges neighborhood after reports of multiple shots fired. By the way, my parents will probably be moving out of Montreal soon. Just update. My dad is like giga conservative, and my mom's politics are basically whatever my dad says. I'm just saying. I was actually raised by a functional family. Don't mean to flex, but it's actually everything in this world, and you owe that to your children. But anyway, initial reports indicate a police officer may have been wounded and the suspect remains at large. Well, as the story develops, I can't actually show you any of the footage. It's really gruesome. Active shooter in Montreal on DeCarry at PA grocery store, which I have been to so many times. It's by a Jewish neighborhood, actually. And as the story develops, it gets even worse. A female cop killed a bystander trying to hide during a shooting in Montreal. So understand the actual situation. Again, I can't show any of this to you on YouTube. doing my best to fill you in. I'm not going to show you a censored version later. What essentially took place was you had a shooter just shooting at people, murders a cop, and then there's a female cop, and the female cop basically crashes out and murders an innocent bystander. You cannot make this shit up. It's almost like we really shouldn't be having female cops. Like, I've been saying this for years, and everyone, oh, you misogynist, you don't think... Under pressure, they're fucking more deadly than the fucking terrorists, man. The female cop just executed a random bystander trying to get away from the shooter. And when the real shooter came, she flees, leaving 2 people dead because of her incompetence. What the hell are we doing? Allowing female police officers. Many people are starting to notice. All right, and it turns out she killed a rabbi. Obviously, you have communists. All right, this guy, he just criticizes Israel. All right, he's just a leftist communist that just criticizes Israel. Also celebrates that a rabbi got killed. You got to support all the leftists, the wholesome leftists in the comments, being like, I take back my religion or ridicule. I didn't know her game. Female cop shoots a civilian by her mistake. Internet, women do not belong in law enforcement. The civilian was a rabbi. Internet, I treated you harshly. That's right. So the base leftists that just criticized the action of the Israeli government actually seem like they have a very different ideology motivating them, actually, it seems. So just to understand, I managed to escape from that incel mass shooter, the female cop outside the building, ready to blow you away. This is just like an actual nightmare on all sides, and it just keeps getting worse the more you actually understand this story. So the manifesto, they didn't want to release it. Apparently someone leaked the manifesto. Apparently the Montreal shooter was a Jew-hating communist. Wow. So apparently the manifesto is huge. It's dozens of pages. I skimmed through it briefly, but essentially the Montreal shooter was identified as Seth Hatfield, linked to incel subculture. And you're like, incel? That's so weird. Canadian police have named the suspect in Monday's deadly shooting, Montreal's Côte-des-Neiges neighborhood, Seth Hatfield, a man from Alberta with ties to misogynistic incel. And you're like, oh, that's probably right wing, right? So immediately the internet, obviously the leftoids like saying it was a right winger. Get ready for this one. The attack left 3 people dead. A civilian, 34-year-old Montreal police officer, Mohammed. Again, the story gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And the suspect himself. One additional officer was seriously injured but is in stable condition, and another civilian was lightly injured. Authorities recovered an 104-page manifesto. That's how you know that's a leftist, by the way. All right, right-wing terrorists are like, fuck black people, fuck Jews. Right, left-wing terrorists are like 104-page manifesto. Anyway, distributed by the Hatfield before the shooting, and I'll tell you what it says, which called for, get ready, a violent revolution against capitalist society, specifically targeted police and women and pornography and Jewish people. Man, wow, leftist violence. Who could have seen this coming? Civilian victim of Montreal shooting identified as Michael Moshe Mizrahi, a highly respected member of the local Jewish community. Mizrahi earned his living selling suits. He was an active member of Montreal's Hebrew-speaking Chabad Lubavitch community. Police confirmed Hatfield acted alone. Quebec's domestic security minister described the incident as a domestic case unrelated to everything else. Totally unrelated to all the other anti-Semitic and violent leftist attacks all over the place. So just to understand how fucking absurd this actual story is, it's a leftist communist that hates capitalism and Zionist Jews. He says in his manifesto, Zionist Jews. I actually read it. I told you, I do a lot of research for my ideas. Goes to an area from Alberta where there are basically no Jews. All right, he goes all the way to Montreal, to a Jewish community on Côte-des-Neiges, shoots a cop named Mohammed. Again, fucking crazy story. Woman cop murders a Jew by accident, kills a Jew, Jewish rabbi, as she's crying, and then eventually the killer dies too. This is the most fucking retarded, woke... This is the literal end point of leftist politics. Guns are illegal, so none of the civilians have guns, but the terrorist obviously has a gun. They foment in these anti-capitalist, communist, revolutionary, fucking retarded subcultures where they go and murder people. The female cop actually does fucking nothing about shit except for murder a civilian. The actual communist that goes, presumably to kill Jews, actually fails at killing any Jews, because, again, he's a fucking retarded commie. So the Jew that actually died was because the police officer that was there was a woman, and she was retarded. Do you understand the level of leftist bullshit you have to get to have this fucking conclusion? It's absolute insanity if you think about it.
The female cop just executed a random bystander trying to get away from the shooter, and when the real shooter came, she flees, leaving 2 people dead because of her incompetence. What the hell are we doing allowing female police officers? Let me watch this off stream.
Yeah. It's bad.
I think he's hit.
No, he's hit. No, il est touché.
Bro, she just pops him off. She was like this. She goes up and shoots him.
And just shoots the civilian. Bro, No, we cannot keep doing this. Why do we have women as police officers? Stop, please.
And then the real shooter shows up and she runs away.
Yeah.
She's running away.
That's right.
She's running away from the shooter. And then he takes over her position. She shot a random civilian and then she...
That's what happened. She shot a civilian and ran away when the actual bad guy showed up. Female cops, the perfect society.
Actual shooter. Look, it's a stressful...
And I'm supposed to make believe that men and women are equal. Like, men and women are inherently different. All right, obviously, God created men and women. Men and women are of equal importance in the grand scheme of things because God decided to create both men and women. But to make believe that they're biologically the same is fucking retarded. Like, all these leftists that believe in evolution and radical atheism, all these fuckers should understand that from an evolutionary perspective, the men should be the ones with the fucking guns. The actual enforcement arm. But these people, they do not believe in reality to such a fundamental degree that they are going to support a trans person who identifies as a dog and be like, nope, nothing wrong here, until the dog trans person murders her own parents. All right, they are so divorced from reality so that their retarded worldviews can exist. They end up killing and destroying so much life. Ah, yes, importing retarded cannibals into our country totally doesn't make our country bad. Oh, they raped 250,000 white women? Well, we're just going to ignore this, actually, because it doesn't fit with our preconceived notion of our worldview. Yes, it's a stressful situation. She acted in a stressful situation. She shot a bystander. But I'm just saying, this seems to impact women a lot more than men. You see it when they're police officers. You see it when they're driving cars. You see it in the military. There is overwhelming evidence that this happens, and yet it doesn't fit the worldview that men and women are the same in literally everything. So therefore, they just have to keep slaughtering innocent people on the altar of fucking retarded anti-reality diversity.
Situation, but I mean, something's very wrong. Amelia gets shot herself. Women shouldn't be police officers. It's honestly ridiculous that we've deluded ourselves into thinking they're suited for roles like this in society. I know this will come across as insensitive, but we need to have a real conversation about frontline female police officers and infanteer.
Conversation. Everyone knows it's real. The crazy thing is, like, every rational human being knows this. They just have to make believe that they don't, because otherwise they will look bad.
She shot a civilian and ran away when the gunman came at her. She abandoned her injured partner.
Yeah, what are we doing, man?
I mean, if you're a 6'2" guy, right, and you're, you know, a 24-year-old criminal, the probability of a 5'3" female officer being able to subdue you or stop you, it's zero. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Well, I mean, there is a gun. A lot of people call a gun the great equalizer, but it really doesn't equalize everything. Obviously.
That's before the shooting. This is the person. This was the person, and then she immediately shoots him after this, which is fucking insane.
That's crazy. That's absolute insanity. She just popped an innocent man.
Bracing your proof on anecdotal situations and emotional reactions.
I love that everyone's like anecdotal. Yeah, but there's millions of these anecdotal situations. Listen, man, if women were as equipped to these roles as men, then there would have historically been one instance throughout all of history where a matriarchal society worked, but it never did. At some point, after there are a million anecdotal situations, you start to recognize perhaps a pattern.
What I'm saying is that police officers often need to have the physical ability to restrain and to control.
I think it's more even than the physical ability. I think it's the mental ability. I think in incredibly high pressure situations, women freak out more than men. You know, I'll just be real here. I've seen it with my own two eyes enough times to know that. Now, even aside from that, I also think that objectively, women don't carry a full load. Women in the military carry less. They get more tired easier. So yes, obviously, I think that physically speaking, men are better at this shit than women. But even in an instance like this, where she has a gun, and you make the argument that it's not purely about the physical, I think emotionally speaking, women are not as equipped to situations like this as men. Not to say that there won't be certain outliers on both sides, but the statistics don't lie.
Suspects in different cases. A woman is not as big and strong as a man is.
And we see this every time, by the way. I don't know if any of you remember, there was a shooting in Bondi Beach in Australia. Muslim terrorist murdered 15 Jews, and there was like a female officer at the scene that was running away. Like you'll notice this again and again. There was a case in England where there was a Muslim guy. It's crazy how many of them are of that ilk, and in an airport, and she basically didn't do anything, and she was like, stop, and he just basically walked up to her and broke her nose, and she was bleeding and crying everywhere. This was like an incredibly famous story. Everyone was talking about it. And we're just supposed to keep, they're all anecdotal. every single one of them is an anecdotal, right? There's no evidence. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. All right, here's the case that I was talking about just now. All right, so like this was the case.
On behalf of Fire.
Right here she is standing there trying to subdue this guy.
Age 21. Mohammed Ahmad, age
Look at, she's tiny. Look at this.
26, following today.
And he just blasts her. He blasts her over here. And as you can see,
age
this
21.
Oh, they ended up letting him out of jail, by the way. That was the other part of it.
Mohammed.
And she's just she couldn't even get back into the game. Again, I'm not talking about how I'm not making fun of these people. I just think that statistically and historically, we know for a fact that these women should really, the 4'6" woman going up against a 6'2" guy. All right, it's just it's not gonna work.
And because of that, she doesn't have that capacity. And also, men do have faster reaction.
And the crazy thing is, then you see like all these fucking cop shows, and I think Netflix and Hollywood pumping out infinite goy slop, all right, trying to convince you that reality isn't real, and it's the nice, sweet, wholesome Muslim man that's incredibly religious and cares about every individual, and the evil Christian as he abused them. This is literally the narrative in every single fucking cop movie, by the way. And then you have the badass female officer on the force. None of the men, even though they're like 4 times her size, have a chance at defeating her in an arm wrestle. And she's stoic and epic, and she's faster and stronger with better reaction time than all of the men combined. This is every single cop show, by the way, trying to convince you that reality is not real.
Time than women do. Men have been trained and genetically engineered over millions of years to have faster reaction.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you are a pure atheist, pure and utter atheism, you should understand this.
Time to have better eye-hand coordination and to be able to respond to things like this faster than women can. Just because.
And also, it's also about keeping a cool head in certain situations. Let's be honest. The crash outs are generally coming more from one gender than the other.
A woman can't go out there. That doesn't mean they can't do investigative work. And I think that women can play that role really well. And being a police officer, being an infantryman, and being a fireman, these require men. There shouldn't even be a conversation about this, by the way.
Yeah, but there is, because they don't believe in reality.
She was looking directly at the suspect before shooting the random guy. Unless they told her there were multiple suspects, it makes no sense. Let me see, can I pull this up?
No!
Yeah, that's the shooter right there. And there's her, and then there's the guy that she shot.
Oh my God. What a fucking nightmare. And you know exactly what happened. She was stressed as fuck. Her partner was killed. She was super stressed. She saw a guy and she just knee-jerk reaction blasted him. The end of leftism. Violent communist goes to kill Jews. Jew gets killed, but actually gets killed by the female cop as the communist kills a Muslim cop. The natural end of leftism is just a death cult. Now, after looking at France going through that absolute nightmare with all those stabbings at the music festival, England with the grooming gang scandal getting covered up, Montreal, which just had a mass shooting situation taking place, we got to talk about the greatest country on the planet, the United States of America. So Europeans are coming to America en masse for the World Cup because everyone cares about goy ball, I guess. Goy ball is happening. Everyone get involved. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I'm kidding. You know what I mean? And all the Europeans come to America after decades of propaganda teaching them that America's crazy and everyone has guns and everyone's racist. And they come to America and they're like, oh my God, this is the best country. This is the best country on the planet. All right, so we gotta do something wholesome every once in a while.
Super welcomed, and we have nothing but amazing things to say about Houston hospitality.
You can get every single landscape, every single climate.
Yeah, we're actually the best country on the planet, and these Eurotards are used to living under globalist communist rule.
You can get everything in the US.
We are all enjoying the fact that this country is so great to visit. The people are amazing, so welcoming.
That's right.
The culture is amazing.
After all generations of propaganda to teach you that those Americans with their savage ways, and it's just the best country on the planet, actually.
You don't know how good you have it. These Europeans who are visiting do. They're experiencing it for the first time, not...
Yup. Generations of commie slopaganda destroyed by 1 minute of capitalism. Yep.
Watching
1 minute.
Someone else's interpretation of the United States for the first time. How often do you hear Americans say, you know, when I travel, I just realize how much better everything is. They'll say the food and stuff, which is it's just complete BS. The truth is you have more choice in the United States than anywhere else in the world.
Real. True.
The primary difference you will see is entitlement.
Yeah. And also Africans. A lot more Africans in other countries.
From Americans and gratitude from these Europeans. Europeans now are actually, for the first time, experiencing America, the United States. Not New York City, not Los Angeles.
That's right.
The rest
Actual America. not literally epicenters of gay like New York and LA.
America, and they are blown away. But first, let's compare ungrateful, entitled Americans, what they complain about as it relates to the United States, and keep in mind that everything you are about to hear is objectively incorrect.
America sucks ass, dude. I was in Thailand for 1 month, and then I was in Europe for 1 month.
Alone?
Coming back to America, if you're not in a major city, there is zero sense of community whatsoever.
I'm scrolling on social media and somebody said, America is for making money and the rest of the world is for living, bro.
Yeah. Hit the bong again.
Let that sink in.
America is not what it once was. I've got some bad news for people who don't.
I love Europeans be like, I saw a tweet. So I made my entire life decision about America.
Travel internationally. The world hates us. Okay?
Oh, no.
We're not the big dogs. We don't have the clout that we once had. We aren't even like...
Yeah, I actually don't care. I don't care, honestly, about the rest of the world nearly as much as a lot of people think I should. I actually care about our country. I want our country to be awesome, actually. I actually don't really care if Europeans that are sacrificing their entire culture and society to an infinite hedonism and migration. I actually don't care about your opinion at all. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Statistically on top of anything.
We are statistically on top of everything.
Don't even get me like started on the taxes, bro. I'm getting taxed on things that I already paid taxes for to buy with money that I
go back to Europe where taxes are friendlier.
Bro, taxes in Europe are a million times worse.
This shit is fucking ridiculous.
You don't get
I live
taxed as
and
a
work
tourist.
in Spain, making roughly 1,000 euros a month, which in America is nothing, but in Spain is more than enough to live. I only work 16 hours a week, and I'm able to afford a super nice apartment in the city
Where you work at the mini putt course where they can put it for
Yo! I work 16 hours a week and I have like nothing in my bank account and I'm miserable and alone and I have no children and I'm sad and but hey, I have an apartment in Madrid.
We don't got it anymore. People don't want to live in America. People aren't.
More people objectively are trying to get into
Literally everyone is trying to come to America.
Than any country.
A lot of the kids said their parents wouldn't let them go to America because they were afraid they were going to get popped by the police.
I am like so out of here as soon as I have the opportunity.
Goodbye.
I, like literally fuck this place, bro.
The American mind cannot fathom. It's just crazy to me because like you've been told growing up your whole life that America is the best country in the world.
Literally, you have a nose ring. You literally have a septum piercing. Like, bro, shit goes up. I am sensing people having fun. Yeah, all right, dude.
That's just so far from the truth.
Yeah, so objectively, more people want to get into the United States than any country on earth, and it's been that way for a very long time. Objectively, economically, when you're talking about GDP, especially, by the way, when you account for native-born American citizens and sort of, you have to kind of parse out the massive wave of illegal immigration. Americans do better, they fare better, they're more educated. Economically, they do better. They have a higher standard of living, better quality of life. And by the way, if you take people from these European nations where they may, for example, in a Scandinavian country like Denmark or Sweden, they have a higher quality of life. You take those people, transplant them to the United States, and it doubles immediately. It's far more comparable, or would be a more valid comparison to, let's say, Sweden, Norway, and Rhode Island, as far as size, population, and homogenous demographics.
Yeah, they don't like to hear about any of these things. Remember, reality doesn't matter to these people until all of a sudden it slaps them across the face. It's like the woman that's pro-trans rights, and then they go into the bathroom, and then they see the toilet seats up, and they're like, ah.
Everything that they say when they complain about the United States is objectively incorrect. Now,
reality is irrelevant to these people. It's all about the narrative. That's right. Reality doesn't matter.
For the Europeans who are blown away, and what, not just their own experiences, it's heartwarming, objectively, what they appreciate about the United States is verifiable.
Nothing comes close to the USA.
All right, a brand new experience for us.
Damn,
accident and
bro.
emergency unit here. We're in a town called Taunton. This is a hospital. And I thought I would just make this little video to share the experience because it was utterly phenomenal.
Meeting Houstonians, how nice everyone has been, how welcoming everybody has been, how hospitable.
No one in the world, I've been to a lot of different countries, no one's as nice. Literally, no one is as nice and welcome as like conservative Americans, and like I'm not even kidding. Nicest people I've ever met, just randomly in public. The people in like Arizona and Utah, you know, you just walk around and like everyone is super nice. They want to help. It's crazy. It's honestly insane. And then you go to France, you get stabbed by some needle from some fucking retard who shouldn't even be in the country.
Or you look like a member of the SS.
We just felt super welcomed, and we have nothing but amazing things to say about Houston hospitality.
You can get every single landscape, every single climate, you can get everything in the US.
Can you have a burger? The burger is strawberry shake with vomit. And animal French fries.
I'm in America right now and I could cry because I've just found the thing that I miss the most when I go back home to the UK. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I found a Sonic. I can confirm I have acquired crushed ice.
A lot of places in Europe don't give you ice because it's too costly.
Yeah, you can't sell ice in Europe anymore. Yeah, it'll all get stolen, actually, it turns out.
The trucks, everything in the US simply beats anything I've ever experienced anywhere in the world.
Damn, bro.
Watch this.
They're not Muslim. Oh, he's like my 4-year-old son.
They're not wearing hijabs. I can cry. They're not even wearing hijabs.
Yeah, just like him.
Delicious.
And the burger? Right.
That is bloody lovely.
No one doing drugs. No one stealing. No one's breaking into my truck.
Crazy, huh?
He rented a truck. Nice.
There are no words to describe how lucky you guys are to live there. Americans are so lucky to live.
That's right. Best country on the planet.
Amazing country.
And we actually, I know this is going to be crazy. We actually wanted to stay the greatest country on the planet. A country based on biblical values. A country that's actually a high-trust society of people that actually are not barbarians. I know, it's a crazy thing to think about, but we actually like this, and we want it to stay that way.
I wish I was there, guys, honestly.
Yeah, this is something I can tell you all of my Canadian family, and even myself, because I was raised in Canada from about 3 to 18. When I moved stateside, the first time I had to go to a hospital, it was like a hotel. All of my Canadian relatives will tell you the same. And Canadian friends, by the way, they will all tell you the same thing. Little things you take for granted, where people will say, in America, our food is so loaded with preservatives and pesticides. When I go to Europe, first off, one of the top pizza places, like in all of Italy, they get their dough, I believe, exclusively from Manitoba and North Dakota. I was just reading about it. Like they get a lot of their raw materials from the United States. You can grow tomatoes. You can grow your own fruit, your own produce. You do live in a country, though, where whether you're in New York City, California, Oklahoma City, take your pick, you can go into a grocery store anywhere in this country and get any kind of produce you want in any season. That's unheard of. If you look in a lot of these European countries, their fridges are the size of like your dorm mini fridge. They just have to make multiple trips. So to America, it's great if you can eat seasonally, if you can eat locally. It's like a novelty. It's a requirement in most of Europe, certainly rural Europe. They don't have the choices. That's why their mind is blown. Little things that you take for granted.
Say the children. Hi, Gerald.
Bro.
What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. All the little things we take for granted. Like, I don't know, not having Pakistani rape gangs, for example. It's actually pretty fucking awesome. Just insane to think about.
People go, oh, that's because it's cold. No. Our summers get into the 90s and humid and muggy. You better be wealthy enough to get a window unit and pay 15% tax on it.
They didn't have that in Cambodia when I went, and I don't know if you know anything about Cambodia. It's a little hot. It's hotter than Canada. In fact, it's hotter than Texas in most parts of it. We literally had to go to a restaurant and buy something so that we could sit in air conditioning for an hour a day.
When I was in Ireland, there's a whole middle part of the day. You just can't go to a restaurant. They're just off.
Done.
What?
They're just gone.
What are they doing?
They close. They open for breakfast late, much later than most Americans would eat breakfast. Not everywhere, but this was Cork and Dublin. I was surprised as to how sleepy it was, as to how unproductive it was. And then you went out of the city a little bit, and it would be closer to a third world country as far as the homes, the size, the amenities than what you know here in the United States. I'm not saying
everything we take for granted, dude. Just the economy. The economy there in Europe is an absolute shit show right now. They don't drill for oil. They shut down their nuclear plants. We don't want to invest in AI because AI. Some woke person on the internet was very upset about us. And now, while doing that, they have infinite free healthcare for all the retards, right? Which means that the retards are going to come, obviously. Dude, it's crazy. And also, the United States is big. It's beautiful. It's naturally beautiful. You go to the national parks. You go to Zion National Park. Wow, that's pretty fitting, I guess. You go to the Grand Canyon. There's nothing like it. It's incredible. It's grand. It's big. You could get everything you want here. You could literally follow your dreams. I know it sounds cliche and cringe, but this is the country we're trying to conserve. And Europeans who are coming from in-shitified Europe, whatever they fucking did to that place, and then they come here and they're like, holy shit, we could have been this if we weren't gay retards.
Saying that Ireland is a third world country, but what I'm saying is you don't know how good you have it. These Europeans who are visiting do. They're experiencing it for the first time, not watching someone else's interpretation of the United States for the first time. And it's not New York City and it's not Los Angeles. There's a very, very big country. This is actually, it's such kind of a phenomenon right now that Jake Tapper even interviewed this German soccer player about specifically this on CNN.
What do you make of all the viral content coming out of this tournament and all the love for the European tourists from the American people as you show us our country with fresh eyes?
Yeah, I mean, I know Freddie. He's a nice guy. He's from like close to me, so I've been talking to him. He's loving it. He's more touring the South. I did Chicago, and I think it's more like because in Europe we have a lot of rather negative news about the Americans in the last 5 years, let's say that. And I think we are all enjoying like the fact that this country is so great to visit. The people are amazing, so welcoming. The culture is amazing. It's like Europeans are getting a new view of America right now, I think, through our content, and that's cool, I think.
Yeah, I wonder why they had a negative perception, not only because of European media, by the way, often state-run. BBC had the same thing in Canada. CBC.
The media fucking hates us too, because again, we are a successful capitalist society. Way too socialist, by the way. I pay way too much taxes, but we are all the things that the media are trying to convince you that actually you should not like. They're telling you that you should not actually like a culture that's rooted in biblical principle. You should not like capitalism. You should want to flood your country with infinite migrants. You should be woke. You should protect the environment at the cost of your fucking children getting raped by Muslims. So much endless propaganda trying to teach people that America bad. Oh, America's so racist, they even elected Trump. Oh, Trump. A 90s Democrat, Trump. Oh, you just wait until you see what's coming. So that's why they're all so mind blown, because actually, we are the greatest country on the planet, and they were lied to their entire lives, and they believed it.
See, but because of our far left media here in the United States,
like Jake Tapper,
you
see him smile like, "Oh, you've heard of my work."
Yeah,
I'm glad I made it over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you read my book where I talk about Biden's cognitive decline that I attacked everyone for pointing out?
Yeah, 2 years later.
So yeah, once you go, oh wow, very, very different. Then there's this story that's it's pretty cool. This guy he's German, and the online screen name is just Freddie. And at first when I read it, I thought it was like German Freddy. When I like German, oh yeah, maybe we should go to my boiler room and I will stab you with my claws on your worst fear.
Yeah, that's why my name is Kruger.
That's right, Kruger. As opposed to Spanish. Freddy Krueger, I will take you back to my boiler rooms and then I will kill you with my claws.
I will see you in your dreams.
That's right. It's only when I show up, your dreams become nightmares.
Making fun of Europeans. I love that. I love that everyone just does it now. It's so awesome.
Scary.
Oh,
I have so many claws.
So sad.
All right, Vega.
So sad what happened to these guys. The greatest culture, greatest civilization known to man, completely fucking destroyed by woke retards. It's miserable.
No.
Just miserably sad, and everyone knows it. And I think nothing exhibits a better example of the idea that like the leftist media will break you, completely and utterly destroy you. All right, your eyes never saw the reality, so they will shape your mind to believe what they want you to believe. All right, just understand that is exactly what these people are doing. Manipulating you into believing a thing, and then you open your eyes and your world breaks. Your entire world gets destroyed. That happened to Europeans coming to America. That also happened to this guy. This is a libtard who talked about his experience after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He's an ex-libtard. All right, just understand. I think this is one of the greatest videos I've ever seen, by the way.
I'm actually glad that Charlie Kirk was murdered, but probably not for the reason you think. I was at work when I first found out. A fellow employee had wandered up to me, cell phone in hand, and asked, "Did you hear that Charlie Kirk just got assassinated?" And I, without even a moment's hesitation, responded, "Good! Fuck that Nazi white supremacist piece of shit!" I had never before witnessed such a perfectly blended expression of disgust, disappointment, sadness, and surprise.
The normal reaction, by the way, to every single one of these leftoid fucks.
All through the window of another man's eyes, or experienced a silence so uncomfortable as the one that followed, and although that look on his face now haunts me more and more with each passing day, at the time, it only made me distrustful and upset. But little did I know that the sentence which followed would end up becoming the most profoundly psychologically impactful question that I've ever been
All right, are you
confronted
ready?
with.
Are you ready? Are you ready to hear the psychologically impactful question? It changed his life. This one question.
Have you ever actually watched any of his debates? I decided to end the conversation immediately. This man was clearly a lost cause.
That's right. Never, ever engage in discussion with the other side. They must all automatically be evil.
Those intellectually dishonest Kool-Aid drinking types who refuses to engage in good faith with any perspective which contradicts their outstandingly narrow and propagandized worldview. And by this man, I mean me. Because I hadn't actually watched any of his debates.
That's right, obviously.
I was basing literally every single thing I believe about a human being with thousands of hours worth of publicly available recordings of himself openly expressing his opinions on a small handful of out-of-context clips that had been curated for me by algorithms and media organizations being funded by the political opposition.
That's right, and that's literally the entire liberal world. All right? Just do not believe your eyes. Do not believe reality. Believe what I want you to believe. This has literally, like a cancer, infected all of leftism.
I foamed at the mouth, right along with the rest of those rabid and bloodthirsty dogs, gleefully mocking those who had been saddened by his death and downplaying the atrocity of it all by suggesting that political violence is just an unfortunate yet necessary step toward our coveted socialist revolution. That is, until I began to notice a common thread. The exact same comment being repeated ad nauseum in nearly every single online space.
Huh.
Have you ever actually watched any of his debates? I didn't think much of it at first. Of course right-wingers are all regurgitating the exact same talking point. They're in a cult. They're brainwashed. It was an ordinary and boring morning on the day I found out that I am a monster. In that moment where my curiosity got the best of me and I decided to click on some random YouTube thumbnail of Charlie Kirk with his goofy and gummy smile in an attempt to reaffirm my preconceived biases. And it was an unusually stressful afternoon on that very same day when I spoke to my father for the first time in years, despite the fact that he had always loved and supported me unconditionally. And it was a never-ending sleepless night, coming to terms with the fact that literally every single thing I thought I hated about the right, the bigotry, stupidity, violence, vitriol, and narrow-mindedness, was actually just an outward projection of hatred toward my own self. Charlie Kirk is my hero. He opened my eyes to the cruel and manipulative nature of our political media, brought my family back together, and taught me how to love again. And to anyone who takes issue or offense with that, I'm going to do exactly what he would have done, and challenge you to answer a simple, honest, and straightforward question. Have you ever actually watched any of his debates?
Charlie Kirk, doing the Lord's work beyond the grave, saving libtards that would be gleeful if you were killed. People that you would think are so fucking far gone that there's no way they would be saved. Charlie Kirk saved them from beyond the grave. And all they had to do was actually look at reality with their own eyes instead of just live in their endless fucking retarded stupor of delusion. Very fucking brave of this guy, by the way, to come out with this video, I have to say. But nothing radicalizes a human being more than reality. When you watch Charlie Kirk, you realize he wasn't a monster. When you go to America, you realize it's actually just the greatest country on earth. You go to a communist utopia like Cuba, you realize it's an absolute shithole. You see a trans person in the woman's bathroom, and all of a sudden, you're not feeling super comfortable. He just wants to watch you pee, okay? 250,000 British girls got raped by Pakistani Muslim rape gangs, and all of a sudden, diversity is not your greatest strength. Nothing radicalizes you like reality. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This was a super deep dive on all the things that happened. I did a lot of research on all of them, from Montreal to France to the UK to Europeans coming to America to Iran and Israel. I covered all the things. I do my best every day. Definitely subscribe. And if you can support me on Patreon now more than ever, it would be really appreciated. These videos take a lot of effort and a lot of work, and I'm not making money on them. I'll update you on that in the future. I appreciate you all immensely. Don't be afraid of reality. Embrace it. God created it for a reason. He didn't create reality for you to make believe it doesn't exist, as dark as it sometimes gets. See you in the next one. Bye!